All right, let me refresh this. Let me refresh this. It's refreshing. It's refreshing. Okay, let me get that open. Boom. We are open. And here we are, boys and girls. Episode 61. Tubi, Nick D, and we still don't have Jarvis Jerry back. We got special guest from the other show, Mr. Siddhuey.
Hello.
Da-da-da-da.
I got called up to the big leagues.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. He's in the big leagues. So tonight we're not doing any sports. No sports tonight. We are going to do the talked about a million times, but it still hasn't happened. Fantasy. We're going to do some fantasy talk, but before we get into that, we have 3 other movies real quick. Well, one's an anime that's been going on for quite some time. Well, since 2019, not that long. I don't know when the manga came out. Nick, do you know when the manga came out on Demon Slayer? No?
I imagine a handful of years before that.
Probably. I'll look that up in a second.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about 3 little topics, then we'll get into our fantasy. But before we get into the fantasy, before we do the tier list, we'll do video of the week or meme of the week. We're changing that. Just open it up. Meme of the week. All right. So to start it all off with, Siddhuey was going off about how he has now finished Demon Slayer. And I'm going to say, Siddhuey, this is your first anime?
Yeah, first anime series. I mean, I've watched anime movies, but first anime series that I've watched.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And overall, what were your thoughts?
Demon Slayer.
What were your overall thoughts?
Oh, my overall thoughts, bro. I think this is one of the best things I've watched in a few years. I feel like Demon Slayer, like just overall, not even like limiting it to to animation or anything. Just like overall, this is one of the best things I've watched. Like episode 19. Which if you watch the show, you'll remember it's when like the web and like there's a bunch of stuff going on.
That's when all the spider shit's going down. Yeah.
Oh, you guys can't see my page right now. I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't share. Oh my gosh!
I just see you two.
See, no chair, and I'm just dropping the ball left and right, boys and girls. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Let me.
Okay. Yeah, but like I really enjoyed it, man. Like it's one of the things I was like, is this how most anime are like? Like, because I was really intrigued after this. I was like, do I just like anime in general? But I've seen like bits and pieces of other stuff, but and it's never really intrigued me like this. Visually, I thought this was amazing. Like this is one of those, like visually, I'm like, damn, this is incredible. Like even by anime standards, I was like kind of floored that just the visuals of this, right? The characters are great. They're the kind of characters you can really fall in love with and like want to follow on a long journey. So it's really great. Like I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. I can't say enough good things about it. There's the way it's structured. We were talking about this earlier, so I just want to like tie up how it's all structured and stuff. There's a 26 episode first season, which is great. Just great stuff.
For sure.
There's a movie that I think you can watch the movie maybe on Crunchyroll, Nick D. I'm not sure. But
it's all on Crunchyroll. I just haven't got to it yet. Yeah.
Okay. If you're someone like me who was watching it on Hulu, it's a 7-episode. The movie's been broken up into a 7-episode arc. It's called like Mugen Train or Muzen Train, I think it is. And then there's a second season, which is an 11-episode arc that's called the Entertainment District, or something like the Muzen Entertainment District or whatever it is. So those are the ones that are available on Hulu to watch, and they're incredible. Like,
wait, is Hulu missing something?
I'll check right now.
Just the third season?
Just the third season, which is currently, I think it's the finale happened either this past weekend or it's happening this week. It's really close.
This past weekend, yeah.
Okay, so it's past weekend. So if you have Crunchyroll, you can watch all the way up through season 3. But if you're someone like me who's watching it on Hulu, you have to wait. But this
You'll
stuff
probably be
is.
getting it soon now that it's wrapped up. You'll probably get it soon.
I would hope so. I don't
Yeah.
know how long it has to be on Crunchyroll before like
Yeah, like what the
Oh, wow.
deal is, the rights deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so visually though, it's incredible. It's a great story. Like I think it's something that even if you're not someone who enjoys anime, and I'm not saying I don't know if I like or did. I mean, most of the anime I've seen, I've kind of liked it, but I've never been like, oh yeah, I gotta watch a bunch of this and like grow my hair out and like do some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Wait. Don't fly by that. Why do you have to grow your hair out? What is
I
that?
always associate anime with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always associate. It's a Dragon Ball Z has the crazy hair with like and stuff. So I always had to grow out my hair, like to be
Yeah.
a
So you
fan.
can go Super Saiyan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Addy must be a huge anime fan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Different growing of the hair out. That's probably more the Passion of the Christ fan than more like a an anime fan. But no, I'm just like I think it's just great. Like honestly, I can't say enough good things. I don't want to go too into specifics. I know two of you haven't seen it.
I want to watch it. It's just when you're doing anime, you gotta kind of almost, in my opinion, I want to finish one before I start another one. And I started.
Yeah.
Or I didn't start. I'm on like my third anime here, but I'm in a long one right now. So I put this on my list to what I have. Like I've shown it to Nick D. I have an actual list right now going of animes I want to check out.
We got to do that. You guys got to make the my anime list counts.
Yeah, I do want to do that too, Nick D. But
yeah.
The next show I want to watch, Stu, happens to be the one I think you said you just started, which is crazy, which is Attack on Titan. I really want to check that one out because it visually looks like something I'd be into. So once I finish JoJo, which will probably take me another year, just being realistic, I do want to watch Attack on Titan, and I'll put this on my list. That's the one negative side about anime is a lot of them are very long. There's a lot to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
That's all I got. Yeah.
No, I think like you're right. Some of them are long. Like I found that Demon Slayer, they're like pretty short episodes, and it's only gone through 2 seasons, so it was kind of quick. I mean, I binged the shit out of it, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I think it was pretty quick. Attack on Titan, I've just started. There's 4 seasons of it, so I think there's probably a lot I still have to get through.
I think that's a wrap too.
Yes, that's over. I think that's over.
Like done and done, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's done and done. So that one, what I really like about it immediately, because I've only just started, I've only 5-6 episodes in. What I like about it immediately is just the main character of Attack on Titan is basically kind of the other side of the coin to the Demon Slayer's main character. If you watch both, you'll find there's a real similarity between the two characters of what they've gone through, and then it's kind of their responses to what they've gone through. They split, but it's a really interesting kind of starting point anyway for those two characters. But I like the story. The animation's great. It looks really cool. I would still say I prefer Demon Slayer, but that's because it's kind of more of a fantasy thing in my opinion, where it's there's swords, there's powers, and there's a bunch of that kind of stuff. Whereas Attack on Titan is feels more legitimate, more real, it's a post-apocalyptic world,
and it's very biblical almost.
It feels sci-fi-y to me. I'm not calling it sci-fi.
I mean, I would. It's Nick. What do you call Godzilla?
Sci-fi?
No. I meant what do you call that? Those.
Shonen.
It's almost got.
Well, you'd say kaiju for Godzilla, but for Dragon Ball and this kind of stuff, you'd say shonen.
Shonen, right? Yeah, okay. It's got that vibe, right? Because the giant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kaiju. Yeah. Well, it's both. It's shonen is the boy adventure, the young man who has to fight a problem, and kaiju is the giant monster. So Attack on Titan.
That's what I was trying to say. The giants. Yeah. What was it one more time?
Kaiju.
kaiju.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. And that's kind of what's going on in Attack. I watched the first 1.5 episodes of Attack on Titan because I was really intrigued recently. And I liked it. I was just oh, I really like this. I definitely want to watch more of it. But
after JoJo.
And I mean, I know you're really going heavy with the Demon Slayer, but there's no way this is better just by visuals than JoJo.
I haven't seen JoJo.
It's a completely different
yeah.
beast.
I know.
Like it's so like JoJo's like doing acid. This is like smoking weed. You know what I mean?
I've heard good things about JoJo, so I was like, oh, maybe I should go check that out. Like, so I think that might be on my list after Attack on Titan. But like, what I like about Attack on Titan too is like it is different a little bit to Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer to me is like a fantasy. I don't know how. Yeah, like it's totally like this fantasy epic behind these three characters who are going to like defeat this one bad guy, right? And like Attack on Titan to me, it's already like I've only seen a few episodes. Like I'm like 6 episodes in or whatever, 5, 6. It feels layered. It feels like
bleak. It's not as fun.
Yes, I agree. It feels like, I will say,
it's
Demon
serious
Slayer,
shit. It's like because there's a lot of politics also going on. There's a lot of politics going on.
Yeah, so I think that kind of makes it more weighty. But like Demon Slayer is also really crazy because like there are some very real world, like real life implications for these kids constantly, and like I don't know, it's interesting. But you're right. Like the thing about Demon Slayer is you kind of always feel at every moment, like, of course, these 3 guys are going to live and, like, they're going to continue on with the characters, right? Attack on Titan, like, it already gives you, like, within one episode, like, I don't know, is this guy going to live? Like, it's crazy, you know?
No one's safe.
That's kind of how JoJo is no one's safe.
Yeah.
No one's fucking safe at all.
It also totally makes sense. I think Attack on Titan got converted to a movie, right? Or was adapted for a film, I think.
It was. So. And if I'm not mistaken, it was shot on that island outside. That's the island. I just watched what's his name? Chris. We were just talking about him the other night, Nick D. Abroad in Japan. He has an episode about where the Attack on Titan movie was shot. It's this like weird island that had like it was a coal mining island, and the whole island has a giant cement wall built around it. It's super famous. It's called like people refer to it as Battleship Island or something like that. He goes there in one of the episodes, Nick D. I mean, he's got 1 million episodes on YouTube. Shout out. But yes, they talked about that movie, and supposedly that movie is not very good. But
what I was just bringing up about it was I can totally see why they would make a movie from this, because it totally fits like a movie genre, right? Post-apocalyptic, civilization is confined to this area. Here's this terrifying threat. Here are the group of guys who are like holding guns and just like shooting, trying to like, fight back, right? Like it makes a lot of sense how it would turn into that. And I think, like I said, Attack on Titan feels more layered and a little more adult than Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer 100%. Feels like, it's gruesome and it's adult in terms of its bloodiness. But like if a kid could get over that, like and overall the themes feel like something that a kid could get into, right? Whereas like Attack on Titan, it's like this might get a little more adult and a lot more like shades of gray, as opposed to black and white, where it's like demons are bad, the Slayers are good, So I don't know. I think it's interesting. Yeah, definitely something worth checking out though, for sure.
Well, so overall, what do you give it, Siddhuey, rating wise? S to F.
Demon Slayer is an S to me.
Okay.
I have to give it an S. It's 100% S. And then Attack on Titan, like I haven't finished it, but what I've seen so far,
you can't give it a rating yet.
Well, I'll put it this way: what I've seen so far of Attack on Titan is I would be shocked if it's anything less than an A.
Yeah.
If it's anything less, I'd be like that's like how could it start so good and end up like less?
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's gonna end up with an A, but let's see if it ends up with an S.
Yeah. All right. So that was Demon Slayer. Let's.
Siddhuey, I really think, and I'll text this to you, this name. I really think you should check out Jujutsu Kaisen, because it's very similar to like Demon Slayer stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think you'll dig it. It's like a remix on, it's all the same themes, but like here's a different version of that story. Like,
Wait, is that the one on Netflix, Nick T?
I think so. I think that's where I started it. Because like I finished it on Crunchyroll, but I forget where I started it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I was trying to watch, because after I finished Demon Slayer, I was like, hey, I want to watch another anime now. Like this is I want to get another one into this. And like I looked up that one, and I think it was only available via Crunchyroll right now. It's not available on any of the other ones. So that's why I started Attack on Titan.
Hell yeah.
Attack on Titan's on Hulu. I'm just gonna check this out.
Exactly.
And
it's on Hulu as well. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
Attack
pretty
on
sure
Titan.
Attack on Titan's also on Netflix right now. There's a lot of overlapping going on right now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, because it's hot. It's a hot commodity.
Well, and
Everyone's
anime's
talking
taking over America right now. You know,
Yeah,
especially like 2 days ago, the trailer for oh my god, super popular show just dropped, but the live action version. Why am I brain farting this?
One Piece.
One Piece just dropped. Yeah,
Yeah.
which people already. It's live action anime. It's never gonna happen because the anime fans are just not gonna allow it to happen. I hate to say it.
Are the reviews bad? Like
It doesn't.
Didn't
It doesn't.
Know it dropped. Yeah, I didn't. Even
It doesn't seem good, and it's hard because Nick, you know this especially, but like things that happen in anime are very hard to then do that live action, especially on a television budget. So like, he's got stretchy arms. Like, how are you gonna do that?
Yeah, like if it's just some little cartoon joke that you're not supposed to think literally about, and then you bring that to the real world, it just changes things. You're like, what does this mean? This like Tom and Jerry type slapstick joke in this world, like, it's weird. Some things just don't translate.
It doesn't translate. Yeah. All right.
I also just saying this quick point about the anime not translating to live action is people underestimate how much the fans enjoy just animation.
Yeah, like 100%.
People, I always think like studio execs and stuff like kind of like look down on animation, like, oh, that's just like a lesser. Let's try to adapt it. It's like some people like stuff in animation, like just in that form and just seeing it. And I think they underestimate that aspect of like fandom. But anyway,
I mean, I would argue that the fans are also overly like. I think Cowboy Bebop was cool as a live action, and I think it's a shame that the diehard Cowboy Bebops naysayed it. So they were gonna do a season 2, and then they canceled it because the diehards were like, "This show fucking sucked. No one liked it." But I know I liked it. I really enjoyed the live action version. It was different than the show. Yeah. And there was I don't think there was any need. Like, I don't know. I mean, you could say that. I think that coin goes both ways. You know, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and preach that the Dragon Ball movie was good. You know,
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think anyone's going to. You know, but like, I mean, you could say the same thing about comic books too, and that seems to be an issue. But they've made it work. Right, which we're about to talk about in just a second here, is that you could totally argue that comic books were way better as a drawing, not even as a cartoon, but straight up as the book themselves. Like Dark Knight, like I think the Dark Knight is way better than the Dark Knight everyone loves in movies. That comic book is the best.
It's the same thing where there are some things in a comic just they won't translate to live action. Some things will be better, but some things you just can't. Like the whole idea of like in the comic, you get the inner monologue, you get the speech bubbles, and you get like to know the character that way. If you do that in a movie, it's like this is all voiceover.
And some of the visuals too.
And so it's sometimes it just doesn't work, and you got to do something, and that's why there has to be changes. Like if you're gonna do something, you have to kind of like, well, let's play to the strengths in this medium. And like you said, fanboys are like, no, you're not allowed to change my thing.
Yeah.
It's like, bro.
I don't know if you want to go to another topic, Tubi, or if you want me to like talk about it. I was going to say about like adapting kind of when you in fantasy stuff or, like anime kind of fits that too. Like you have a lot of thought bubbles, right? People are thinking, it's a lot of thought and internal characters. And how do you translate that on screen? Like Game of Thrones, the entire books are like written from every chapter is from a first person perspective. Yeah. So it's all like what's in their head, right? But
we're gonna get to Game of Thrones. We're gonna get to it's on the list. Just you go into Game of Thrones. We still got 2 other subjects. Then we'll get into fantasy. You could give us the whole Game of Thrones jibber jabber, real quick, especially because it's getting just slaughtered in the box office. And my first comment I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say this with a very weird thing. I was surprised, Nick D, that I wasn't too surprised about BK, but I was a little surprised about you. The week before we had seen Transformers.
Yeah.
And you and BK came out of that theater giddy like schoolgirls. You guys were like, Transformers.
Yeah.
We come out of the theater last night. I was giddy about The Flash. I'll say this too off tops. I went into that movie very low bar. I wasn't a fan of Ezra Miller. the bar was low for me last night, and I was, really hoping they didn't mess up my Batman.
Yeah.
I came out of the theater joyful. I have to say this, and I know there's not a lot of people saying it, and I don't care. I don't care what the critics are saying. I don't care about any of that shit. I thought that this movie might be the best thing DC has done in quite some time, and that's overlooking the James Gunn Suicide Squad, because I did enjoy that. But that was a weird movie. It wasn't. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the Zack Snyderverse as a whole.
Yeah.
This is one of the best things to ever come out of the Zack Snyderverse. And I would even say, and I'm going to say something real controversial that will probably get some people upset, but no one watches this show, so it doesn't really matter. That was the best Batman we've seen since, 1991, 92, was it? Nick, do you know off tops what year Batman Return was? I can look it up right here.
92 feels right.
Something like that, right?
That feels, yeah.
So I think it was 92, 93.
Yeah.
89.
It was 92. It was two. It was two. 92. Yeah, it was 3 years later. I mean, to see my Batman, and I say that that's my Batman. I guess it's not everyone's.
Yeah.
To see him back in the suit was just, where is he? There he is. It was just glorious. The music, when the Ezra Millers, yes, there's two of them, when they go into the Batcave on their own and all that, and they're like looking at her and they're amazed. I was amazed, and just seeing him as Bruce, one of the best Bruces ever, and then he suits up and he shaves off the beard and he comes downstairs. He's just like, I'm ready to rock. Like, it was like, what? And then the whole like Russia breakdown scene when he's fighting, clearly that's not Michael Keaton fighting. He's hella old and stuff. There's no way, but it looked good. Yeah. The little references they made, like I forgot that the measuring tape thing was a reference to like when he grabs what's her name in the first Batman movie, and he's like, "How much do you weigh?" And then he like adjusts it. They did that same. Yeah. There was a lot of like homages that they did that were just so good, know. And I
didn't get that joke until it was already underway. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh. But you know what I mean? I was like, what is happening? Yeah.
And I didn't really, I'll say this about Ezra Miller. I'm not going to get into the whole, we'll let it be with his whole craziness. Because I don't want to comment on it. We'll just leave that.
It's not for us.
We'll leave that off to the side here. That's for maybe, me and Siddhuey show or something where we talk more serious. This show, we don't talk as serious, right? He didn't really get a chance in the Justice League to really show us anything. And in this movie, I by the end of it, I kind of liked the Flash. I kind of had come around to him by the end of it. Now, that first half needs some work. It could have used some cutting down. That's everything up until he sees Bruce. Like, literally everything up until there, I could cut it down a little bit personally. I made the joke last night. I just fast forward through that and get to that other part, and then I could start my movie for me. And I kind of mean that, but, at the same time, like, it was still solid. And the girl that played Superwoman, because I think it's more of a Superwoman. Are we gonna go with Supergirl?
Well, I mean that's Kara. Yeah.
Yeah, is the cousin. That's right.
Yeah.
That is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Supergirl television show that from the Balancy verse or whatever. I did enjoy that. I watched that show. But I thought that this Supergirl was fantastic. She was cool. The little bit we got of her, it was enjoyable. She looked badass. Altogether,
I like that, in the barest way that she looks like she could be related to Cavill. Like, just in a real life way, if they're like, oh yeah, that is his cousin. It's like, yeah, makes sense. Like, just nice little.
I mean, am I a huge fan of it? No. Was I a huge fan of just seeing my man Michael Keaton back on the screen, which now will, because of this flopping, it is now the final time we're going to see him. They're no longer doing Batman Beyond. That's official. I think that they're scrapping that. Which, if this movie would have made more than the Robert Pattinson movie, now this is a Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin statement from their show that aired yesterday. If it would have made more, they would have actually made Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton. That would have been awesome. Clearly that's not happening. This movie did worse than Black Adam, which is That's crazy to me. And I will say that is effing crazy, because if we're comparing this to Black Adam, you got to be kidding me. This is such a better film than Black Adam. Get the hell out of here. Even Shazam, which I liked the first Shazam. That second Shazam just wasn't it. The first one was really good. Second one was all right, is the best I'll say about it, you know?
Yeah.
But this whole, them being inside the cave, all of the Batman stuff, I was smitten off of. And just because that's my Batman. I grew up with him. That's the Batman I beloved. You know, they even made a joke about the whole head turn thing with Ezra Miller wore the other suit, and there was just some funny stuff in there. I would go ahead and say, for me, this was a B plus, B for Batman plus. I would love to have bumped it higher because it's just so cool to see Keaton back on the screen again as Batman, but there was a lot of story issues that probably were unavoidable with all the reshoots and all the jibber jabber they had to do. I'll give a couple spoilers. I'm not going to give a couple of the bigger spoilers, but the fact that they gave a little homage to Adam West, the in my opinion, the greatest Batman to ever, you know, take the screen with it, you know, like the man who made Batman iconic on film. Awesome. So cool that they were able to do that. Shout out to Adam West. And you know, the Kevin Smith Superman, which Kevin talked about a lot, Nick D. The fact that they even paid any homage to that whole scenario, it was out of pocket, and that is crazy. And as a huge Kevin Smith fan, that's wild. That's all. I'm not going to go super into depth on that, but that's wild that they even like referenced it. So I give it a personal B plus. Out of S. I want to point that out. Out of S. There was 2 more tiers for that it could have went, you know.
Yeah.
But that's it. Nick D, please go ahead.
I give it a B too. Like I really liked it. I think it's a fun movie. Like I think Ezra Miller is good as the Flash, but again, like I just think like this DC, I just think Flash was handled so weird in this franchise that it's definitely like one of the best Snyderverse movies. It's weird that it's like this is like the end of the DCEU now, and it's like it wasn't an end game. It doesn't even feel like an ending. And then it's like now we've got Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2. It just feels like, because of all the meta reasons of this movie taking 9 years to come out, because of all the controversy with the lead actor, because of WB's issues, because of the whole, just everything, that it's like this movie, I feel like it never really had a chance. It's like here we have a really good movie that came out, and it's just like, it's a flop, and it shouldn't be. It's like, should be one of their best movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's parts of the CGI that are like real bad that you're like, oh, you can tell they ran out of money. And it's like, this doesn't look good. And it's like, but then when you think about it though, you're like, well, the story's pretty good. A lot of it doesn't make sense. There's so many plot holes in this movie, but it's like, they don't really matter because it's not really about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's meant to be a comic book movie that's fun, and it actually really succeeds at that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
once you get it going though, once it gets going, it gets really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I'll say it's kind of like it's a much better version of what they tried to do with Wakanda Forever, where it's like Wakanda Forever is really a Namor movie, but they're like piggybacking off of fucking
Black Panther 1. Yeah.
And it's like, this movie it's like 40% a Batman movie. It's like, it's a Flash movie, but it's like, it could have easily gone the other way.
There's a lot of Batman.
Yeah, so it's like, this is a really good movie, but part of me is still like, this isn't even really a Flash movie. Like, this is a DC movie, and I like that. I think that's a cooler idea. So it's like, I don't know. The Flash is, you know what's really weird about the Flash in the Snyderverse? Sometimes he's like, it almost seems like he's like, I don't know, like neurodivergent or like impaired or like so socially weird that he can't make a connection. And then sometimes in this movie, he's a normal person.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, like, Ezra Miller plays him as 2 very different people depending on the scene.
You know what I mean? When you're saying that too, Nick, you're talking about one of the 2 Flashes, not each Flash on its own. Because that's hard too.
like sometimes young Flash is like Keanu Reeves in like Bill and Ted, where it's like he's like brain dead, and then sometimes he's like coming up with these crazy plans, and you're like, I don't get like what is his IQ? Like, because it's like
by the end of it too, yeah,
like it's all over the place. Like, good movie then, super fun. I'm not like trying to say don't go see it. You should go see it. It's definitely worth seeing on the big screen too.
Real quick too, because I have the image pulled up here. One of the first times we've seen, I don't think it's the first time, but one of the few times we've ever seen Batman in daylight.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith pointed that out. I don't want to take credit for that. Kevin Smith pointed out that this is one of the few times you've ever seen the current Batman, because I think television Batman was always in daylight. Almost all of Adam West was in daylight.
Yeah.
But since he's became a movie, he's usually only at nighttime. So real cool to see Batman in the daylight. And he had the black and gray on too. Kevin also pointed that out. I'm just taking Kevin's shit right now. So
he had the gray, and it seemed like there were slight tones of like blue in the cape for Affleck. And then one of the suits in Keaton's thing were a couple of the action figures from the '89 Batman, and one of them was straight up gray and blue. Like it was like the
OG Batman suits.
Yeah, like what is that called? What's the one with the Calendar Man? Long Halloween.
Long Halloween. Yeah.
I also loved just that, like, look at the like, not only did we get the classic '89 Batmobile and like this kind of new but like version of the Batjet, but we get Affleck's we get a new Bat's motorcycle, and we get this like weird alternate, like that's almost the thing from Batman Rises that Affleck has, that his jet, like it's very similar to the one in movie. Like it's like these cool little remixes of like, here's a new Bat cycle, here's a new
Oh, there we go. Here's all the bat suits right here.
Yeah. Like there, you can see on the far right, that's like the winter one that's like white.
Yeah.
Like some sort of like scuba one next to that.
Yep, the
like,
scuba
and
one.
Then second from the left, blue and gray, classic.
Yeah. The Batman stuff was. I mean, that's what's really. Yeah. I mean, that's all. All I'm gonna say is the Batman stuff was fantastic. That was my Batman. Loved all of that. As a movie for a whole, not the greatest. Clearly, DC just really has been in a hole for a while now. It's unfortunate. And I don't think Blue Beetle or Aquaman, those are automatic trash. You know, there's just no way. I'm
hoping Aquaman blows. Yeah, like I'm hoping Aquaman like blows up mine. Like it can still do something really cool, but we don't know anything. Do we even know what this movie's about?
No.
Like, I don't know anything about Aquaman.
And that Blue Beetle trailer they played yesterday was just like, no, this isn't it. I'm sorry.
And also, really quick, just last thing about Aquaman 2. Like, so again, like I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, and this is gonna be a light spoiler, and we're not gonna get into why or anything. I don't want to ruin anything, but like, so in Aquaman 2, is Flash even still in that world?
We don't know.
Like like in that, like, so theoretically in that world, there's no Flash to call on. Okay.
Well, it depends on what Aquaman world we're even in.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, is it possible that in this new movie that like,
are we in that one that we saw at the end of the movie, or are we in a different one?
Yeah,
Kevin Smith also brought that up, but it's also like it doesn't even matter anymore because they're washing all this away, which is why these movies are partially flopping too. I hate to say it.
People know.
Yeah, people know. Like, there's no real point of seeing it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but I mean, it does kind of feel that way.
It does.
But I did, like I said, there's some really cool scenes in this movie. Siddhuey, to sell you Siddhuey. There's some really cool scenes with Batman in this movie. You know, it's interesting. You said it's 40% Batman, and we'll end it with this little mention. Superman or Superwoman, Supergirl, whatever. A super person is in it a ton, but it still doesn't compare to the amount of Batman we get. Like, it's still like Batman's here, which, you know, let's be honest here. Batman's like top tier superhero, Marvel or DC. It doesn't matter. He is that guy. I mean, and I think part of that is the fact that he's just like us. He's a human. You know, like he's just like Iron Man. The reason we connect so much, I think, with Iron Man is the same reason we connect with Batman, is that they're normal people without any crazy powers. They're just rich and have badass suits and shit. Yeah.
And keeping up with these guys, these gods, these like literal gods.
Yeah.
Also, look, I like Batman a lot too, but I didn't connect with Batman necessarily. I just liked the universe with that he inhabited with his like cool kicking ass fighting crime, cool cars, cool Joker. Like I wasn't connecting to the billionaire who decided to fucking buy a fat suit.
Yeah,
and
I
be
know,
a
Stu.
vigilante.
We know your favorite character is a Greek god. So I mean, we get it, bro. We get it. Thor's your guy.
That's part of the story of my life too. You know what I
A
mean?
Greek
So it's
god.
just-
Yeah, we get it, Stu. We know. We know,
it's only a
bro.
Norse god, but yeah,
I'm just saying the popularity of Batman, which clearly is a lot more popular than Thor, has been because the people. I think people overall connect more with a human than a fucking person with running abilities or laser eyes or
and just how
turning into a
tragic it is,
giant
like-
Hulk monster or a Greek god.
The story also, it's like it's really based in a story that you could see in any kind of major city, right? Where it's like crime is kind of increased, the police really don't have a control over it. Like these are things that affect all major cities, really in the United States.
And, personal tragedy. Yeah, it's such an easy in. It's such a
Yeah,
it's why the Batman origin story tends to be like maybe 2 minutes long, where it's just gunshot, pearls, and they're like, you get it, like
you get it. Yeah, he turned into the Bat. He's avenging his parents. He's doing his thing out here, right? No, it's great, and I just think, like I said, his universe is just it's amazing, dude. All the characters that inhabit it is so incredible. Like I know you're gonna talk about that before, so I won't go on it, but like. Yeah, he's the man. He's. I like BK said. Batman is a fascist, Tubi.
Yeah, I mean BK's clearly not a Batman fan. That's fine. I don't care what BK has to say. We'll ignore him.
Like you guys talking about watching Flash. Like I am interested in Flash, but I was like I was listening to BK in the chat, looking at BK in the chat. He's mentioning like some things like the CGI not looking great. That's something that I noticed too in Aquaman. Like Aquaman has these weird like CGI moments where it's like the whales are just looking like sea cows. You know what I mean? Like it's weird.
But I mean, real quick, I mean, I don't think any and I'll say this too, and I'm sure BK will take offense to it, whatever. CGI never looks that great to me. If we're gonna go practical effects versus digital effects, I mean,
I'm just saying even by CGI standards, like DC's.
I mean, they're not Disney, but it didn't bother me. And the Batcave stuff, I bet that seemed like it was all practical effects. We went back 4 photos or 4 or 5 photos.
Felt like a set.
It looked like Ben Affleck was actually on the motorcycle. I mean, that's real. And in the movie, it looks actually worse than it looks in this photo, which is weird. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
So sick. That is like a full-on Akira bike. Love it.
Yeah, it was badass. I enjoyed it. I mean, if we're gonna go by CG, I mean, it still looked a lot better than Transformers, and I'll end it there, and it's gone. All right, so moving on. Oh, geez, McGee's moving right along here with the show here, and talking about bad effects because Siddhuey just brought it up. Now, I didn't recommend Siddhuey to watch this movie, but Siddhuey watched it. Now, I will say, if we're comparing this movie to the original, and that's the only reason I even texted Siddhuey, to be honest here, is that this movie has a way higher Rotten Tomato rating than the original Judge Dredd. Now, if I'm comparing this Judge Dredd to the original Judge Dredd, I think there's personally no comparison. The original is way better. But this Judge Dredd is very cool, and I really like it because it's like one story in a controlled environment. He's in this building. He's got to get out of there or whatever. Or I'd say he has to get out of there, but somehow he clearly keeps going upwards. He's never actually trying to escape.
He's not leaving without Cersei.
Yeah. He's like, I got to do this thing. This Judge Dredd is crazy in the head. Like he's like, I have to solve this crime.
He's unhinged.
Yeah,
he's Terminator. Like the last thing you want is Dredd chasing you,
dude. He's very Terminator. That's a great comparison, Nick D. He's very Terminator. And the guy who plays it, which I know is from The Boys, a show that you guys are all big fans of, Carl, he does a phenomenal job as Dredd, and they don't explain shit in this movie. it just goes, and it's like, oh, you should already know what the Dreads are, and this is Judge Dredd, or you should already know what you should already know what the judges are, and this is Judge Dredd. That's all that's kind of explained to you, and then you're thrown into this situation, and it just goes. I really enjoyed it, but going back to the CG comments and stuff, the part that I think this movie, the reason it kind of feels dated, even though it's not that long ago, 2012, is because it was during the time period where they were shooting stuff for 3D movie theaters, or to see in the movie theater 3D. And a few of the scenes just are clearly made for that, and it kind of ruins it. It takes you out of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing why I would give this movie a little bit lower of a personal rating overall, because those moments when I was watching it kind of like, God damn it. You know, it's just like, oh man, this is really, really cool. And then that would happen, and I'd be like, oh man, that took me out of the moment. Like when the gun's being shot, when they're like rifling through that building, they're like breaking it down and he's running and all that. It was just like, but that same scene, brutal. They kill so many people in this movie. It's unreal. And like they like show it, like people are just getting like just ripped apart.
This is like a horror movie.
Yeah.
This is a horror movie. Yeah.
So I would say, you know, and we've only had 2 Judge Dredd movies over since for 36 years. Judge Dredd came out the year I was born in March, which is crazy.
The Stallone one?
No, the comics.
Oh yeah, I was like, no, dude, it came out in the night, but yeah, the comic. Okay,
yeah, the comics came out in England the year I'm the exact me and Siddhuey are the exact same age as the Judge Dredd franchise. It's an English comic. I read all about it the night I watched this because I'm a weirdo.
Yeah. Bring over a USB, dude. I've got gigs and gigs.
I don't know what you're talking about, Nick D.
All in the up and up.
All in the up and up. I would say this movie was another B for me. I enjoyed it. It's cool, you know, but you don't have much to compare to. Like I said, you only got 2 Judge Dredd movies. This only being the second one. If they didn't have the 3D, I might have given it even a little bit higher of a rating. But like, I mean, that is kind of from my understanding and what I've seen online and stuff, and I looked into, that is what Judge Dredd is, even in the comics. It is, that's all he does. Like, there isn't much to his, you know, his character, really.
Yeah. Judge Dredd is like a Rob Zombie.
It reminds me of Frank Miller's Hard Boil.
Yeah, I mean, it's that kind. It's like pulp. It's like it's you know, it's meant to be violent and shocking and like just, you know, it's like fun. It's not, you're not supposed to take it seriously, and like it's Mad Max. It's yeah.
And I do think, Jerry, that the original one is cheesy, but that like in the same way that RoboCop is cheesy, it's like part of it is of the original one.
Yeah, that's the tone. Yeah,
the tone is this movie, like.
Yeah, if the studio let them be more violent, they would be a perfect match.
And it's
because again, there's like monsters, and because like that whole like family, like there's more mutants, and like, the comic gets surreal as shit.
Yeah, the comic's very surreal.
This Dredd movie is pretty normal because it's just in the building. You go into the deserts, you're gonna get some weird shit.
Very cyberpunky though. Very cyberpunky.
100%. This movie feels like Dredd could be walking around the same thing as like Blade Runner. Like, it feels like it could almost be the same world, and Dredd just deals with humans.
Like the police force of that world, almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Siddhuey, go ahead. Tell us what your real thoughts were.
Yeah, I thought it was actually like if I were to give it a rating, I'd probably say B, maybe B plus even. I think, you know, the stuff that Chubby talked about with, you know, the 3D stuff kind of throwing you out, right? Like throwing you out of the mood of the movie. That stuff really hit me like hard. Like you're kind of like in this, like you're in the flow, you're going, then it's just like abrupt, like stop, you know, and then it's like trying to come back into that. It's like a little bit difficult, I felt, but I like that it's a simple movie.
Yeah.
I think too oftentimes like movies try to be so like art pieces and stuff. And it's like, no, just be a fucking movie. Like, just give me, like, a straight movie, you know? And so I appreciated that it's, like, a straight movie. It's a really simple premise. You know what's going on. They go through. There's a lot of fighting, some cool explosions. You know, like I think even Jared talked about explosions too, and like it's simple. So I think for me it's like a B. I just wish that like I don't know the 3D stuff was cut out, and some of the action scenes are a little bit cheesy. I feel like some of this stuff is a little like stilted, but you know he is kind of like a blocky figure, so he isn't supposed to be too agile. But like some of it, I was like a little bit too kind of blocky. But overall, yeah, I'd say probably like a B.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, to be honest, dude, his gun is almost his superpower. You know what I mean? Like the
lawgiver, yeah.
Yeah, the lawgiver, yes. Like he like I don't know. It's hard to say, but I know exactly what you mean. He's very stiff. He's almost as stiff in the same way Michael Keaton's Batman, where he's very like, I'm stuck in this, like my costume doesn't let me do stuff. Yeah.
But which is weird when you're like taking down like in 100-story like fucking prison block, basically. Like, you should probably be able to like move a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, regardless, like it's. Like I said, I appreciate a simple movie that like just kind of accomplishes what it's trying to accomplish, and like this was that, like I don't know. I'll put it this way: in this world of multiverses where like all this random shit is popping out left and right, I appreciate a movie that's just like, here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And my biggest thing that I love about it is under 2 hours. And that's an important thing, bro. I'm gonna push this.
I forgot about that.
Pushing this, okay?
Yeah.
Under 2 hours, like you're gonna get a higher grade from me no matter what you are, because it's like it's not like a big investment of my time. You know what I mean? Like to that point, really quick. Like this past weekend, I was like, I'm gonna watch Triangle of Sadness, something I wanted to watch. I hadn't seen it during Oscar season. Looked it up. It was 2 hours 20 minutes. Right?
And it's a fucking a dragger, bro. With how sad it is. Yeah.
I watched Jumanji 2 instead. So that's
yeah.
Because Jumanji 2 is less than 2 hours and it's gonna be simple.
A little upbeat too. A little upbeat. Yeah, a little upbeat. Yeah.
I'm gonna go do that. So that's what I did.
That's
100%.
That's hilarious. I mean, I do recommend watching Triangle of Sadness because it's a fucked up movie. But all right, my last comment real quick about Judge Dredd. I just want to get this out there. It's funny how in the future everything's like updated and stuff, but the skateboarders were still just on a normal half pipe with the normal skateboards. Like somehow hoverboards or nothing was ever invented. Like the world's totally changed, but these skateboarders, they're still just riding skateboards.
Love it.
Because I forgot about when he escapes and jumps down and he lands on the half pipe, but the half pipe's like off the side of a giant building and shit. So weird. But if you've never seen this movie and you're looking for a good hour and a halfer, definitely worth checking out. It's very enjoyable. You got some big name actors who became big name actors after the fact, one of which we'll be talking about in a second. That's in one of Siddhuey's favorite fantasy television series right here. And then we had Homie from The Boys. And if I'm not mistaken, he was very like juiced to play this role and has wanted to come back and play it again. So hopefully maybe down the road we'll see it. Who knows?
I could be wrong, but I think he fought for like Dredd doesn't take his helmet off. Like I think he was even like no, dude, like that's what we're doing here.
He also pushed for the motorcycle.
From here down. Yeah.
He really wanted to ride the motorcycle because that's iconic for Judge Dredd as well.
Yeah.
It's
a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. All right, so we're going to get into the fantasy stuff, but should we do... Yeah, we're almost at the hour mark. Let's do video of the week, and then we'll get into fantasy to end the show. How about that? We'll do the fantasy overview, and then we'll do the tier list to end the show. So let's get into video of the week. We got Nick D first up. Ooh! That looked like all face.
That's actually not even the one I meant to send. But dude, I get a lot of wrestling clips on Twitter now. I just feel like out of all the stuff I see, like Japanese women wrestlers are doing some of the craziest shit right now. And it's like I just feel like I hope they get like more fame and like attention. Because again, that's not even the clip. I've got a crazier female suplex where you're like, I hope she's okay. Like that didn't look good. But again, yeah, that's another one.
All right, so that's Nick Dees with the face slam
Japanese
of death.
women wrestlers, they're crushing it right now.
And then Siddhuey is a little on topic right now.
Yes.
If you're not following, there's a group of people right now stuck in a submarine. It's kind of sad, or not kind of sad. It is sad.
Yeah.
They were looking at the Titanic. They're stuck underwater. I think at this point in time, they only have like 30-something hours left of oxygen. Doesn't sound good. Siddhuey submitted this clip.
So we run the sub with this game controller. It's made by Logitech, but it's basically a Sony PlayStation style controller. If you want to go forward, you press forward. If you want to go back, you press back. If you want to turn to the left, it's like that. You want to turn one button.
I don't think that's really a funny video to do for funny video of the week, but okay, that was Siddhuey's submission.
That is like mind-blowing.
Siddhuey, that was your submission. And that will get to mine. I hope BK's still in the chat.
Do you know, is that guy missing, or is that just one of the guys who worked on it?
I don't know.
One of the guys who worked on it, I think. I don't think he's actually in there,
Yeah, it's a very sad situation. All right, moving on away from that. All right, and this is a shout out to BK and all you Darksiders.
Love it. That's dope. I haven't seen that.
I just thought I saw that and I just thought it was funny.
I like that it's like a trippy image too. I'm like, wow, that's like weird looking. Like, yeah, I like that.
I mean, come on, it's a dude. Come on, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, bro.
It's good.
I saw that and I just thought that was funny. I threw it in there. I forgot about it. I thought it was a good pick for the week. All right,
I like it.
So let me get that going for the poll going here. While I'm doing that, Siddhuey, I got your three. Why don't you just give us and keep it, semi-brief. You don't got to go too in depth, but I got your three I guess it's really your 3 or 4 here. Your 4. I also do have Golden Compass pulled up because you did mention it, but I got Harry Potter, I got Lord of the Rings, I got How to Train Your Dragon, I got Game of Thronerfield, and I got the Golden Compass. Why don't you just give us a brief oversight on your love for fantasy? and let me give you a couple parameters here. I know you could take fantasy very far, but let's keep it to the traditional fantasy. Your dragons, your magic, your wizards, your elves. Nick Mimi, we're talking about that earlier. That general. Your Lord of the Rings, I think, is the prime example of your traditional. I'll keep this image up of Lord of the Rings here as your traditional fantasy.
Yeah, so what I love about fantasy is that, one, you get to escape the world that you're currently in and enter into a whole other world, right? And the best fantasy, all the ones that you picked, that you put up there on your list, or that I put up there and told you are on my list, all of those have great worlds. Like, they've built great worlds for you as a person to escape into, such that it's a great world when you're just not interested in the main storyline, but you kind of want to explore. Like, you kind of I wonder what's going on in this part of the world. I wonder what they do over here. Like, oh, I hear this happens. It's like in Harry Potter, it's like they have I'm totally blanking on the name of the Diagon Alley, where you have all these different shops and stuff, right? There's so many stores you haven't been into. You're I wonder if I could just walk into those and see what they sell, So you have to build a world. And I think all of those do that, where they create worlds that you truly want to go live in and play in and stuff like that, right? 100%. And then you have to have main characters that you want to follow over an epic story, right? Because all of the stories that I have over there are all over the course of multiple books or movies, whatever. So you have to want to follow those characters. And I think all of them have iconic characters to me. Like even How to Train Your Dragon, it sounds stupid to say that, but it's for that little animated series, there's an iconic characters, you know what I mean? So they all have iconic characters, which I think I really like. And I think with fantasy too, it's a lot of people think when you see something fantasy, it's you're just leaving this life. You don't learn anything about the life that you're currently in. And I find that fantasy often gives you lessons that you can apply to your normal life. Like there's a way for you to like understand your normal life in a better way by reading fantasy. So like there's a lot. And I know that sounds stupid. That's why I'm a nerd about it.
It's all the hero's journey. So it's like it's literally just like kind of like archetype.
I'm only laughing. I'm just laughing because the way you said it, it's a funny statement. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing.
But no,
I read The Hobbit when we were in high school. I read it, and that was by free choice. It wasn't school recommended. Jeez. Obviously the reading didn't stick, but no, I get what you're saying, Siddhuey. I get it.
Did you like it? I've never read anything by Tolkien. Well, that's not true. I've read stuff by Tolkien, but not Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
It was all right.
It's
better
really
than all right, or really good. Okay, yeah.
Nah, it was all right. It's my belief. I mean, I'm just saying it was all right.
And I know this is gonna sound like a stupid question. Is that before Lord of the Rings or after?
Yeah, it's before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hobbit is the prelude almost, or like the prequel to the Two Towers of the Lord of the Rings, which was like the main story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, Lord of the Rings is one of those where it's like if you're someone who likes fantasy, you kind of always have a soft spot for it because one of like the main tent poles,
the pillars.
Yeah. Like it has like all of the main beats of fantasy that you kind of look for, right? You have your main heroes. They're on this journey to go defeat this villain. Everyone, everyone is okay in the end, and they all live happy lives. Like it kind of just like fits this really true narrative arc that you have.
And everyone's like specialized. You know what I mean? How like fantasy seems to really kind of like have like this like there is a team of people that are all useful because they have one thing that the team doesn't. That seems to be like a big part of the idea of like
World of Warcraft
and like exactly yeah.
I mean,
it's all about like partying up.
Yeah, no, like it's all like those team up movies, right? Where it's like, here's my science guy, here's my buff guy who like beats people up, and like here's my emotional guy, but like whatever. It's like they do a great job of having those archetypes there, but generally like I don't know, something, even though that like they're stereotypical characters, they're really lovable, right? And like the best fantasy stories to me always have the unlikely hero, right? It's not the person you expect that becomes the hero of the story, right? And I think that's kind of like the cool thing too, is because if you're someone like me who isn't like, I'm not Superman, so like I'm just a regular person, and you jump into these stories where it feels like any old Joe like you could be the chosen one to like go on this path. It's like it's always really cool, and like all of those stories kind of have that element to them. And I know that's like a cheesy element to fantasy, but if you're a fantasy fan, it's something you really enjoy. And like, so all of those I really like. I think the thing I would say about each one, just really quick, as far as like particulars, I think are really cool. Game of Thrones, really quick, the greatest feat of world building I've ever read in any fantasy story. I think it's the most incredible, like, I don't say this like, hyperbolically, but like, what that guy did, George R.R. Martin, to create that is like truly a work of like complete unadulterated genius. Like I don't understand how a human being could create a world like that. It's staggering, So it's the greatest feat of world building that I've ever seen. Great job disguising the hero. Amazing job, which is really key, disguising the hero, right? Harry Potter to me is like the ultimate thing of like, you have these kind of stereotypes of people, but they fit, and the hero's journey is unlike any other. Like it's just like the greatest hero's journey, I think, to me, is Harry Potter. How to Train Your Dragon. Who doesn't love fucking dragons? It's amazing. They fucking love dragons, and the way they work together, and the way they have emotional stories for the dragons as well as fucking for the humans is what makes it great. It's what makes it great. It's like what I love about Star Wars Rebels, for example. It's like the animals would like reoccur and have like a running thing through like Star Wars Rebels, It's like they took such care with the story that it wasn't just about like Ezra Miller and like the other characters. It was about the whole like the animals in there and like everything, right? That's what I love about How to Train Your Dragon. They took a lot of care with the animals. So that's a huge one there. I forgot some other ones on my list, but like those are the main things, like world building, great hero's journey, you know what I mean? And like taking care of the animals. If you have them in there, give them stories too. You know what I mean? Fill out the world. Make this thing like a place you want to play in. So Anyway, yeah, that's just why I love fantasy, and those are like the reason I like those fantasy stories.
You didn't comment on Golden Compass.
Golden Compass, great blend of sci-fi and fantasy. Now it's not like kind of sci-fi that you would think of like like Interstellar. I'm not saying that, but
it's like steampunk and like alternate science. Yeah,
it's a weird, different type of science, and like it's different. And I think that how it blends with the fantasy is really cool. A great main character who you follow through the journey. I think she's great. And some great like that, the animal. The
Yorick. Is it Yorick or Iorek?
I don't know how to
Iorek. Yeah, I just don't know how it's said, and he's a bear, so how do you even know? Yeah.
Is that the one where it represents Jesus, or what am I thinking of?
No, that's well, I mean, there's some Jesus. There's a lot of like the gold. You're thinking of
Narnia,
the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Oh yeah. That's the Jesus one. Okay.
What's crazy about the Golden Compass? Like the Golden Compass is a kid's book that is essentially like the elevator pitch is a young girl's dad is so upset that her mom died that he's ripping his way through dimensions to kill God. Like you're like the stakes could not be higher for like a young adult adventure fantasy. And she's basically going up against her dad who's literally trying to undo reality. It's wild. Golden Compass is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
I'll have to check that out.
I really like that it's like this is like literally like a book for like 13-year-olds, but it respects their like intelligence, and it's like we're not going to give you some stupid bullshit story.
Wait, is the movie good?
Movie's good too, and there's the HBO. I mean, it's by no means as good as the book, and the HBO show wasn't bad. Like it's same. Like if you like that world, I like these things because I loved the books. Like the books are great, and I normally don't really like kids books, like YA books.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a great point, Nick D, about that. Like it's totally like a young adult, but it's like very like heavy adult theme. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It feels like those stories that they're like, we're gonna tell these kids, like Little Red Riding Hood, like here's a story that you're not ready for, kid. It's a little too extreme for you, but there's a lesson in it because you need to like be aware of this stuff. So it's like, here's a kid's story that doesn't shy away from heavy things that they should know. This is a story about losing your mom and about not being able to trust your parent. And so that's a very scary concept for kids, but there's probably a lot of kids out there that like might need that message and that kind of like, here's how this girl dealt with it, you know? So again, like I think those kind of stories are like important, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll be real.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the shows or movies that we just went through. Not a single one.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I've watched parts of the Harry Potter, but not all of them.
You know,
Lord of the Rings, no. And Game of Thrones, I watched like episodes every now and then with BK and Addie. I saw the ending, but no. And Golden Compass, no, never saw any of it. So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think, I think of all the ones that have been adapted the best, it was oh god, I'm just totally blanking on the one you just said. It wasn't Harry Potter, it was the oh my god.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Fantastic Beast? Oh, Chronicles of Narnia? What, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
No. What was Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings was the best adapted. Like it was a faithful adaptation while also kind of making it a movie. Like they did the best blend of that, where it's like
the 4-hour ones or the 3-hour ones.
The 3-hour ones.
Have you watched the 4-hour ones?
Yeah, I watched the original 3. If that's what you're talking about. No, not all 4 hours.
Yeah, they are. The director's cuts are 4 hours plus.
They're like 3 hours. 15.
No, those are the regular cuts. The extended cuts are on HBO right now.
Yeah, I've watched the extended cuts recently because I like those movies, and I generally watch them all the way through like once a year at least.
Oh, so I thought the original ones were 3 and the new ones are 4, but you're saying the new originals were 2 and the new ones are 3?
I have to double check. I think they're only like the main ones are like the first 2 are like 3, and then like the fourth one or the third one, the final one's like 4. Something crazy. It's like absurd.
Yeah.
But it's it's goddamn, it's Lord of the Rings, baby. It's like
yeah.
But no, I think that's the best adaptation. The Harry Potter ones are not great, honestly. Like the best ones, the ones that Alfonso Cuarón gave us, which was The Prisoner of Azkaban, but that's also because you had like a super talented fucking director.
That's my favorite one. Yeah.
We'll get into that in just a second, Siddhuey, when we actually start doing the tier list itself.
Okay.
Before we get into that, let's end the poll. Also, Jer, you're not here, so I'm doing everything. So when you didn't see the poll, I was running the show here and doing the poll. So my apologies, it wasn't quick enough for you, Jer. Jer's in the chat here. Nick D roasting me about taking too long.
Hell yeah.
No, not hell yeah. Get out of your chair. All right, so the poll's over.
I like what Jared said. Go ahead.
66% for the Dark Death Star, 33% for Siddhuey's submarine, which, I mean, it's no offense, Siddhuey, you are our guest tonight, but that was not really a meme. That's kind of a sad situation, to be honest. And
okay, go ahead.
Now knowing they have a video game controller, you actually made me feel even worse for that situation. But that's, I guess that is what it is. So thank you for submitting.
Hey, I just feel like, if you're gonna be, if someone showed that to me, I don't think I'd pay $250,000 to get on that.
No.
I don't mean to to disparage these people because
of course,
their choice. But at the same point in time, God isn't gonna save you if you don't want to save yourself. Okay, I'm sorry.
But I'm not. Hey, I'm not disagreeing at all, Siddhuey. I'm not disagreeing at all, Siddhuey. But the point of the meme of the week was to be a little bit more comical and not more on the nose with a real situation that's happening right now.
Hey,
but
the show's called My Dark Twisted. Twisted.
Yeah, and that was definitely dark and twisted. All right, so let's get on into these tier lists. Here we go. So I got one that's animated, Siddhuey, and I have one that's live action. Because unfortunately, some of the movies, I know definitely one of the movies you really love here, and I'm sure you're going to say is an S tier because you've told me about this for years. And I'll be real, I did like the original one. I haven't gone back and watched the other ones. I think there's 3, right? And a TV series. The original one was good, and I love Jay, who does the voice for the main character in How I Train Your Dragon. Oh no, they do have 2 and 3 here. There you go, 2 and 3. So we got an animated version, and we have a live action version. I'm thinking we could do live action, and if we have time left, we could get into the animated one. But there's a lot of movies here for the live action. They don't have an F; they just go S to D. So we could just jump right into this live action. Now, Siddhuey, this is your list. Me and Nick D are here to talk with you, and I know there's some on this list, like one of my favorite movies of all time, a top 10 Tubi movie, because I'm a weirdo, is Return to Oz. I love this movie. Absolutely love this movie.
Let's rank that one. Where do you put an S tier?
Oh my God, would I put this in S tier? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. If you haven't seen it, this is your list. This is kind of like the BK scenario. Only hopefully a lot less dramatic.
Be prepared to defend this next week too. Yeah. Like, make sure you mean what you say.
No, I highly doubt anyone's going to be coming for Siddhuey's head with this list. All right. No, I'm just saying, Siddhuey, there's a lot of movies on here. Like I said, look, I'm not a fantasy guy. I've never watched all the Harry Potters. I've seen bits and pieces of them. I've never really, I think I've seen bits and pieces of the Lord of the Rings. I did watch the Hobbit movie, part 1, not part 2. And I've seen some of these films. Like Time Bandits, I really liked. Willow, I really liked.
There's a lot of really good movies on this.
There's
list,
some movies on this list that I really like.
On this list too, so I want to hear those movies and what you guys think. Honestly,
yeah, we'll tell you what we think, and you could take our word or you cannot. But this is your list, so we could dive right into it. Why don't we knock out some of the easier ones that I know off tops? Like, let's just jump right into like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, just so we could get those out of the way, and you can kind of put those where you want to go. So let's go with The Hobbit. We got Hobbit 1, 2, and 3. I didn't even realize there was 3. I only thought there was 2. But
yeah, they really milked the living crap out of those Hobbit films. Honestly, I've watched all 3. God damn, I'm embarrassed to say that. But I watched them. I think there's 3 or there 2. I think those were all like C's, honestly.
All 3 of them are C's, huh?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause I remember all of them, and I remember the big battles and stuff, and it just felt really like a contrivance of the original 3 films. You know what I mean? Like it felt like they were trying to recreate that with The Hobbit, and it was like that's not what The Hobbit really is to me. Like, so I kind of felt like all of them were just like C's, at best. I don't want to put them in D's, but we'll see. I may move them down. Like this is something that I just kind of dislike that's happening in movies in general, which is like, okay, we had a hit. Now let's milk the living shit out of it to the point that you just like lose all artistic credibility, or you know what I mean? Like it's not even fun, and like that's what the Hobbit movies were to me.
Okay. It seems like with the Hobbit, that like the source material is already such like it's like, all right, we're safe. We know this is going to be great story wise. It's like you don't need to recreate what Peter Jackson did. It's like take your own thing, like take a risk and create your own new visual language. Like the Hobbit could have been its own beautiful thing, Instead, they're like, let's just Peter Jackson, but not get. Is it even Peter Jackson, or is it not? Is it?
It was. It was.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. No disrespect to Peter Jackson. I didn't realize he directed him. Yeah. Well, yeah, they clearly were trying to recapture magic. Yeah.
He was trying to milk it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right, Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. What are we doing with those 3?
The originals. Wow, that one. That's. How do I break those? I almost like part of this list. I think it's like you got to kind of put on a curve in a sense where it's like you have to think about how is this related to other fantasy films, not films in general.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing, Siddhuey.
Yeah, I want to make that clear because I'm going to put these kind of high.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And
I just want to say, like, I don't think, like, just in a vacuum, these are like great films.
Siddhuey, all of that's established. This is just you doing just the fantasy films.
To me, I'd probably put the first and the third. Actually, Helm's Deep's in that second one too. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna put all 3 in S.
All 3 in S.
I think that makes sense.
I
think those are the Godfathers.
Yeah. I think they are the gold standard of like when we talk about fantasy and like the magical elves and the fairies and that kind of nonsense. They're the gold standard to me. Like I thought he pulled it off, and like he had to make the movie super long to the point that like it's really only palpable if you're watching at home. Like when you can watch it at home, you can get high, you can go to the bathroom, and like there's plenty of spots too to go to the bathroom. It's like okay, they all made it to the Elven land. It's like okay, I'm gonna take a break now for a second, like go take a piss. Yeah. So it's long, but I think all 3 like the story just flows, and all 3 have something really great about them. Like I think one, like the first one to me, Fellowship, right? It does a great job of establishing the individual characters, but establishing the core thing that makes Lord of the Rings great, the journey. We're going to start now. We're going to set off on the journey, right? You have to feel like you're off on a magical journey that you want to go with these characters. And when they meet and then they set off on that journey, to me, it's like a magical moment, and it captures the fantasy feeling that a fan wants to have perfectly. So to me, I think that's what's great about the first one. The second one has the Battle of Helm's Deep, which at that time period, like the way they staged that and the way they showed that, like that was a pretty big deal with the CGI, the way they looked. It was a pretty big deal. And I thought they nailed that. And then the third one, the resolution of the story, I thought they handled that perfectly. So I just think, all 3 S tier.
All right.
It's a long S tier.
Yeah. I got you, dude. They're an S. All right. We got Harry Potter, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 Harry Potters. Where are we putting?
I think there's supposed to be 8 because isn't the last one split into 2?
Yeah. Yep. The last one's split into 2. Yeah.
2,
maybe
3,
they just
4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there is 8. My bad.
Okay, cool.
My apologies, chat.
This one, so we can start with the third one, which is Prisoner of Azkaban. You could put that one up in S tier.
Yeah, Goldman. This one stealing the show.
Now,
what's his name? Sirius Black.
Is it before or after Lord of the Rings?
After.
Okay. Now,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Tell me the next one.
I think I put that S. I just think that's like a great. It's the best Harry Potter film, and Harry Potter's like probably my favorite fantasy story, so I'm gonna put that just up there. Yeah. Number 1 is the closest one to the book, So as a fan of the book, I'm like, oh, this is dope.
This is the one I've seen. This is the first one.
As a fan of the book, I'm like, oh, this is dope. It's like totally like the book, right? But if you don't like the book, bro, this is not a good movie.
It was all
this
right.
Is my list. This is my list.
Yeah.
This is an A.
Yeah,
This is
an
an
A. Okay. I mean, I thought it was all right from seeing it originally, and I've never read the books though.
Okay, because to me, it's like it has parts where I'm like, you know what? I think if I was just a moviegoer who didn't give a damn about this universe, I'd probably want this stuff cut out and like focus more on like other aspects. But whatever. The second one
is Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah. B or I'll put it as a B. I think it's better than The Hobbit.
Okay.
Okay. The Hobbit.
And then we're now on the we're on the
move the Hobbits down to D.
Hobbits are going down to D.
Move the Hobbit down to D.
And move number 2 down to C for the Harry Potter. Why we should just because
nothing in B still. All right.
Yeah.
We can come back at the hey, Siddhuey, we can come back at the end and we'll review and you can adjust them at that point if that helps at all.
The fourth one is Goblet of Fire. You can put that on C.
C, Goblet of Fire. Okay.
Yeah, that's
one with like Quidditch and everything. Is that the sports one?
The sports one.
There's Quidditch.
That's like the team one.
That's the one where they do like the Triwizard Tournament.
Okay.
Where they have like a big tournament and they can go and like so it's really not much Quidditch in that one.
Sports one. Nick T calls it the sports one. That's so fucking good. All right. Now we're on the fifth one.
Order of the Phoenix. This is actually my favorite book, probably. The movie I'd probably say is a B.
Okay.
I'd say.
Wow, we got one in B, baby. Okay, here we go.
I mean,
Dark Secrets. Wait, no, this one's called
Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince.
6.
Yep.
Half-Blood Prince number 6. That one I'd put as a. I'll put that as an A. As far as fantasy films, I think it's an A. I think it's a good fantasy film.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd put it up there. And then I think in the 7th one, which is Harry Potter, like Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yep.
You put that a D.
It's a D. Okay, and then Part 2.
Part 2, C.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Separating the parts.
But I'm not a big fan of that. Part 1 like Deathly Hallows the book. The first half of the book is boring as shit. The book is not great. I don't think the book is that great. The first part because it's a lot of them just like camping and like okay we're just hanging out like you know we're like not doing much. It's like okay the story's kind of dying here. So the movie captures the book really well. It captures the essence of the book. I don't like the book, the first half of it very much. I'm not gonna like the story either very much. The movie, so that one gets downrated. So yeah, that's how I finish those.
All right, fantastic, Mr. Beast. We only have one of them, so let this represent both the movies.
Put them a D.
D.
Put a D, to represent.
It represents all of them. Okay, I did see that one. I did see just the first one.
Planes.
Yeah,
I saw them both on planes. Yeah.
There's 3, isn't there now? One like Johnny did the second one, but they didn't bring him back for the third.
So maybe I saw 1 and 3 then. Maybe I didn't see 2. Maybe that's what it is.
Something like
I saw ones with one has Mads Mikkelsen. I know that.
Well, Siddhuey D did. All right, Siddhuey. Let's move right along. Can you see the list on your computer or whatever you got right now?
Barely. So if you say the name, it's easier for me then to.
Well, I mean, if I say the name, we're gonna sit here all night. You can't see any of it.
I'm
zoomed in.
Oh, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Wow.
No, but it's the original movie. The original movie.
You know,
not the cartoon. Not the cartoon, but the original
I saw
movie.
Hook on that list too, right?
Hook's on the list. Hook is on the list.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's do Peter Pan because it's the first one there, right?
But yeah, have you seen the original Peter Pan?
Yeah, of course I've seen Peter Pan.
I've never seen the original Peter Pan.
I think it's the animated one, right?
That's on Disney. I already said it's not the animated one. It's the original movie. I'll read it one more time. It is the original movie.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know that one.
Neither do I. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. We're gonna leave. I was gonna say we'll D them all, but we're actually because there's a lot of these that we don't know. We will just leave them out. And I haven't seen it. Nick D, I'm assuming you haven't seen it. I mean, I haven't seen any.
I don't even know what Baron is.
I haven't seen Baron. Amazing. Beastmaster's good, Nick D?
Beastmaster's amazing.
So do you haven't? I'm assuming you haven't seen that.
I haven't seen Beastmaster, but I have heard good things about it. Actually, surprisingly, you're not the first person. I was like, I haven't seen. I don't think it's available like online anywhere to watch or something.
Yeah, it was like one of those like '80s trash movies, but it's like better than it was.
That's what I've heard. It's like better than what you think. It's like yeah.
What about Clash of the Titans?
Clash of the, if that's the stop animation one.
I think it is. It's the original Clash of the Titans. Siddhuey?
Oh, that one's better than a D for sure. I thought that we were talking about like the Sam Worthington. I think
No. I don't think they have. I don't think they have the remake on here. It's just the remake was not very good. I've seen the original once back in the day. It was all right. The stop frame animation, obviously, it's cool for the time, and it's just cool to see where we've come as filmmaking or in filmmaking.
Yeah. Let's just give it a B for, we haven't had too much in that row anyway.
Worth watching if you haven't seen it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And now we could they have Conan Barbarian Part 1 and Part 2.
Both of those are S's. I recommend both of them. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen The Destroyer. I've only seen the first one.
They're both great, and then the rumored script for the third one, which I really hope still happens, was that it was going to be old man Conan taking his oldest son out on, and they were going to get Schwarzenegger on a last rating thing, so he can teach his son you're about to be leaving. I've only got a couple of years left in me, so one more warpath, and let me show you how to run this kingdom. And it's like, oh my God, do this. But they didn't end up making it. But hopefully one day.
Jerry says Beastmaster is streaming on Amazon currently. So
amazing.
There you go.
We should all watch that.
Yeah, we should all check that out. So Conan, we're gonna put both of them on. You want to put those on S, Siddhuey? You're in
I would leave them until you see them.
No, Siddhuey, you've
seen Conan. Oh hell yeah, fuck yeah.
I've only seen Part 1.
I've only seen Part 1.
I've seen Part 2. Yeah. So I can only speak to Part 1. But if Part 2 is anything like Part 1, put that thing in S. Come on now.
All right, you want to? All right, fuck it. Fuck it.
I got the DVDs. Yeah,
they're going up.
Over, grab them.
I mean, the original one, it's badass. But all right.
Dude, it's great. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want from a person whose name is Conan the Barbarian.
All right, we're moving.
I love that it's Lord of the Rings is considered high fantasy, wizards, and it's very regal. I like how Conan's dark fantasy. It's the other side of the coin where you're rooting for the orcs. Conan's basically a bad guy.
All right.
I like
Dark
Conan.
Crystal.
I haven't seen that.
You never seen Dark Crystal?
No.
It's good.
Holy crap-a-rooney. That's Jim Henson, baby. All right.
80s classic. 80s classic.
Dragonheart.
Really good.
I've never seen any.
I give it an A.
I haven't seen any of these dragon movies.
Siddhuey, I actually think you'd really like Dragonheart. What it is this dude makes a deal with a dragon where they share a heart right on the nose. And so they have to team up because they're knights hunting the dragon, and he has to be if you kill that dragon, you kill me. So it's this dude going to bat for one of the last dragons. And here's the kicker. Sean Connery does the voice of the dragon.
Oh man.
And so he's a Scottish dragon talking to Richard.
I feel like I have seen
it's great.
It was 90s, right? It was 90s, Nick, right?
Yeah. I feel like I've seen bits and pieces.
It's a classic knight and dragon teaming up movie.
What about Excalibur, Siddhuey? The OG Excalibur.
Yeah, I've seen Excalibur.
The original.
Yeah, I've seen Excalibur. Yeah.
I don't think I have. Where are we rating Excalibur, Siddhuey?
Man, I don't know if I've seen the original. I don't know what this one is.
I'm just assuming it's the original because the poster looks old school.
Yeah, that looks I feel like I probably haven't seen that since the 90s, or 80 something. I saw it as a kid. I don't know.
I'd probably put that as a C.
C it is.
Excalibur,
okay.
I wasn't. It's also personally too stuff that involves more English knights kind of feel. I'm actually not as big of a fan. Game of Thrones, being more the exception to that. Where I really love it there, but for the most part, I don't love medieval.
Yeah, I like it when King Arthur gets kind of weird and surreal, but for the most part, I don't care about knightly court things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I like it when they're oh, here's Merlin. Arthur's talking to Merlin. I like that kind of stuff.
Same. I'm with that. Yeah, but
How about
most of the stuff
Golden Compass? We talked about this briefly, so I know you've seen it.
Yeah. What do you think, Nick D? What do you?
Like,
I mean,
I'd say like a C or B. Like it's one of those things where it's like I feel like if you hadn't read the book, I don't know how much you like this movie, but I really like the book, so this movie's better to me than it is to a non. Yeah.
Is
So
it
like,
better than the
like,
other 3 Harry Potters? Is really what we're breaking down.
Probably not. Like I'd say it's like a high. Like it's probably not as good as any of the Harry Potters. Let's be
okay.
real.
So
it's probably not as good as any Harry Potter.
Well,
to me,
it's going here.
To me, yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll leave this where it is. Wait.
But again, if you end up liking the book, like anyone who's watching, if you end up liking the book, check it out. It's one more little thing in that world.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an HBO show.
Green Knight. Anyone watch Green Knight? That's pretty recent.
I
wanted
really
to see
wanted
it.
to see that.
I wanted to see that.
I really wanted to.
I think I have seen that. That's what the God damn.
Like the Spanish guy
came out last year.
Yeah. Is it Ridley Scott? Isn't it like a crazy director too? No, it's not Ridley Scott, but I feel like it was done by someone we know, like a good director.
David Lowery. I don't know who he is.
So did you see it, Stu, or no? Well, we can just keep moving. All right,
I haven't.
Then we'll keep moving. All right, Hook.
Okay,
Robin Williams, Hook.
If you had asked me this question like 12 or 13-year-old me, Hook is like S tier to the max.
I mean, that's what I'd still put it on S over all these.
I would say like this is almost like the blueprint for like kid fantasy. Like,
yeah,
Lord of the Rings is like adult fantasy. This is like, dude, if you're like 12, this is what you want.
I mean, like just the moments are like burned in my mind of like I have such good childhood memories of it. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it since then.
I have.
I haven't.
I have.
I don't think it's aged very well.
I still think it's amazing.
I think it still brings me back good memories. So I'm gonna think of it very highly. But I think when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, this may be more like an A than an S. But because it meant so much to me as a kid, I'll just put that up an S. But I don't know.
But we want to put it under Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and Conan, or where do we want to put it on S? At the bottom?
Put it underneath them all.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's when I was a kid, man, like come on. You know what I mean? Like that's the one. Yeah. It's just the one, Like,
all right. Huntsman.
That's a Snow White and the Huntsman? Is that one?
Well, there's two. There's the Huntsman and there's Snow White and the Huntsman. Have you seen these?
I've seen the Snow White and the Huntsman.
Okay,
Snow White and the Huntsman.
Where are you putting that?
It's a weird movie. Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like again, it's not as good as any Harry Potter movie. Like it's like I guess it would be a D. Like,
bottom of D.
Compared to
better
than
bad. Better than the.
I don't know if it's better than the Hobbit ones.
What about Fantastic Mr. Beast?
I feel like I might have liked it more than Fantastic Mr. Beast, but again, like I don't know if that's a real, like, like this is like a Hollywood weirdo version of Snow White. Rather, Fantastic Mr. Beast is like at least
we'll leave it at the bottom. We'll leave it at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, and then you didn't see Huntsman just hit his own solo, huh?
I don't think I did.
All right.
I didn't know they had a Huntsman solo. I was like,
what about Kroll? No, I don't think anyone see that. I'm assuming you're going to tell me Siddhuey, and it's going to be a heartbreaker for me, but you haven't seen Labyrinth?
Pan's Labyrinth?
Just Labyrinth.
With Bowie?
David
Bowie.
No,
that's the one with David. Yeah, I think you told me about this.
Dude,
you like this one a lot, I think, right?
I did until... I did. I don't... Yeah. Yes. I enjoy it. Yes. I liked it a lot more as a kid than I did. Well, it's kind of like what you said about Hook.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and rewatched Labyrinth, and I was like, I don't actually. What's weird though, I have watched Hook like in the last couple of years. I still think Hook was great, but Labyrinth, I would knock it down further now than I would have as a child. As a child, I would have rated it higher. And it definitely holds a special place for me. I mean, I'm a huge Bowie fan, but there's some moments in it that are like, yeah. But you haven't seen it, so it doesn't matter. We're moving right along. Lady Hawk, I'm sure you haven't seen. Legend, I can't read the rest of that. I'm sure you haven't seen because I don't even know what that is. All right,
That's the one with the big red devil.
Yeah. It is, Nick D. Yeah.
Oh,
Like, I'm sure you've seen the bad guy from this movie before. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's very iconic. Yeah.
I don't think Siddhuey's seen that movie. No offense, Siddhuey, but it just doesn't seem like something you had seen. Narnia.
Yeah, I've seen all these.
We have 1, 2, and 3 of Narnia. Where are we putting the Narnias?
Did you see these, Nick D?
I read the books, but yeah, never, but again, I read them in like second, like, so I don't remember them at all. Like, I have no memories of this.
You know, Tubi, you said it earlier about Jesus and the Bible, and like, you know, that's what this is about. Well, they lean in.
I've just heard that. I haven't seen these movies.
That's true. It's an allegory for Christ. Like, straight up.
Yeah.
The lion is Jesus.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for like the main characters just like living easy lives and coming triumphant in the end. Like I like that, but this is, even by those standards, this is like cheesy and corny. To me, it's like, I don't know, it's like the Hamilton or something of like fantasy stuff, where it's like it's just like the whack version, like it's like the lame, like a Hamilton of rap. It's like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like,
because it's like fantasy's usually got like an adventure. This is like barely an adventure. You're like, this is like, oh, they didn't go on an adventure. They went on a nice hike. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
wait.
There's no stakes.
Hold on, Nick D. Did you just compare this to Hamilton to rap? Is the Narnia to the Bible?
That's the most apt metaphor.
Okay,
like, it really is.
All right.
Like Hamilton, it's like, it's kind of like corny, right? It's like this is really cheap. This is like lame and like super PG rated for what this genre is, right?
I mean,
that's what
it was cool to see real quick, because I don't know, did anyone else actually see it in the theater?
Hamilton?
Yeah.
Theater, no.
I did.
You saw it, Nick D? I thought it was like, I only get to go to the theater every like once, almost, I feel like once every 5 years if I'm lucky, you know. And I only say that because I just recently went and saw Book of Mormon. But before I saw Book of Mormon, the last musical I got to see was Hamilton, because it was such a explosive popularity that my family went.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing as you used to do, but then when I got to actually sit there in the theater and see the people perform it live in front of you, I did think it was a lot cooler. Now, when they released it on Disney Plus, it didn't hold up as a thing on television the same way I felt when I saw it live.
Yeah.
So I kind of get what you're saying, but I do want to speak up real quick, only because I did get to see that live and in person. And the one thing I'll say about musicals, kind of the same way I felt about Book of Mormon, I always seem to go into those experiences not really knowing what I'm going to get to see.
Yeah.
Other than like The Lion King, because like it was pretty accurate to the movie. And it was cool. I mean, I go back to do one of the first musicals I ever saw. I was with you, if you know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Phantom of the Opera,
which we saw on Broadway, 8th grade.
Yep.
And that, dude, stood out to me, bro. Like, I still think about that every now and then, how we got to see that, because it was effing cool. Remember when he's up on that big like building piece? Remember that? And then he like swings down on the chandelier and shit. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Remember that?
I remember that, bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was a crazy comment. But Nick D confirmed your crazy comment and it says that that's a good analogy. Where are we putting the Narnia movies? Are we splitting them up?
D.
All three?
All of them D. Yeah.
All three are in D. And then they're bottom D?
Yeah, they're bottom. I mean, you could probably put them above Hobbit, to be honest. I think they're better than those, probably, I think, as movies. But, like...
Real quick, let's get into this real quick, because we got a lot going on in D. D's really getting flooded over here.
Because there's not pretty good fantasy films, bro.
Okay. Is Harry Potter the top of D right now?
Yeah, put that top of D, yeah. Put the Harry Potter top of D.
And now, is Fantastic Mr. Beast beneath Harry Potter in front of Hobbit?
Put that in front of The Hobbit. Screw it. Let's be harsh to The Hobbit.
Okay. And now, what about
Snow? The Hobbit.
Okay, and what about Snow White and the Huntsman?
After The Hobbit.
Okay, so Narnia's in front of Hobbit. So right now, just to go through D, because D's getting thick, before we keep going, it's Harry Potter, Fantastic Mr. Beast, Narnia the trilogy, then the Harry Potter trilogy, or my bad, then the Hobbit trilogy, and then Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We've established that. All right, let's keep it moving here, folks, because we're already at the 1.5 hour mark.
Okay.
Never-ending story. You could break my heart right now, Siddhuey, with either telling me you haven't seen it or where you're gonna put it.
I have seen it, but I have only seen it once. So it's not like I've seen it multiple times. But I do remember seeing it the one time that I did, and thinking it was really good. I just haven't seen it since then. So that's just on me. But I thought I really enjoyed it. So I don't know. I'd probably put that I had a good memory of it. All the ones that I have an S, I rewatched multiple times. I've seen them multiple times, and so they they kind of stick out. So I think because I haven't seen it multiple times, I'd probably leave it in an A. But I'm sure if I saw it again, I'd put it in an S. But I think it's an A.
Yeah, I remember loving it, but I feel like I legit haven't watched it in 20-something years.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
You guys could borrow the DVD. I got it.
Yeah, I actually would like to.
Yeah, I love that movie,
late
dude.
80s, 90 kind of thing. I would love to rewatch that.
Well, this is actually early, or not early, it's 84. They don't actually, what's interesting about this list here is they don't have the sequels. There's 3 never-ending stories. I can't speak highly about 2 and 3, but 1 was amazing.
I don't remember them. Yeah, I know I saw them, but
I saw all of them, yeah, but I can't.
Jared says he used to watch that movie all the time when he was a kid.
I used to watch.
What movie?
Never-ending Story.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, I watched this story. I watched that story. I watched that movie a lot, and the practical effects, or however they made it work, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
when I think of that movie, I think of what is the dragon's name? But I think of that puppet, because that puppet was amazing.
Well, it's not, dude.
The face.
It's a puppet, but it's also it also must have been because he climbs on top of it in one shot, and it's not digital. I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Whatever it is, they built it, and it looks great. That's what I think of when I think of that movie.
Yeah. All right. The next.
And the rock people.
The rock guy. Yeah. In the mud with the horse. Dude, I don't want.
Dude, the horse.
That always screws me up. All right. Pan's Labyrinth to do.
When I first saw Pan's, I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth probably since it came out, honestly. I've probably only seen it once. I don't think I've seen it multiple times. But when I saw it, I was kind of blown away. I was like, oh, this is really, really fucking good. And I love the monsters. One of the things as I've gotten older, one of the things I kind of like in my fantasy stories is that little more darkness to it. When I was younger, I kind of just liked them a little more lighter and just kind of fun fantasy. But I think I like when there's a darkness element to it. There's something that's oh, this is a little spooky out here. I'm not sure if I really want to see this, but I do want to see this,
Yeah.
And I think it kind of captures that dark enchantment, that dark fantasy kind of thing aspect of it. So, I mean, I only saw, like I said, when it came out. At that time, I thought it was an S movie.
Yeah,
I was
100%.
this is great. This is S. So I'm going to leave it there because I haven't seen it again to change my opinion. But yeah, I thought it was great. I don't know what you guys thought, but yeah, I thought it was epic.
I thought it was S. Yeah.
Yeah. Where in S do you want to put it?
Man, that might be the best of all of them.
Wow.
Have you heard the where he came up with that idea?
No, I have not heard.
When he was really little in Mexico, he got really sick.
Oh yeah.
One night he woke up and Pan, a faun, was standing over him and looking back and talked to him. And looking back, he was like, I know I was really sick and it was a fever dream. But he's for most of my life, he's that's a memory. He's I remember waking up and a faun is just standing over me and talking to me.
Yeah, I heard him explain that.
And then he wrote a story about it. So that's why it's a nightmare horror movie.
Yeah.
It's fantasy, but he lived it. He was and so he's I was very scared. Yeah.
It's a crazy movie.
Jeez,
it's good.
That's crazy.
All right.
Yeah, it's great. And I also say this too. Yes, Peter Jackson's a great director. Alfonso Cuarón, who did another movie that's in the S tier, great director. But I think Guillermo del Toro maybe is the best of that group. I think fair to say.
He's my favorite.
Okay, so really debatable. That's why I didn't go out strong when I said that. I know to be debatable, but
he lost me on that. He lost me on that.
Water.
No. No, I like that. I thought that movie was all right. No, he lost me on that Pinocchio movie he made last year. It just, God, was it depressing and just not. It was messed up, man. I was not a fan. We talked about that on the show, like last year, I think. But he makes great films. He makes great films. I'm just saying, he lost me on that one. I'm sure, dude. He comes out with something every other year, so I'm sure he'll give me. I'll be back, but
yeah, he works a lot.
He works a lot, man. Princess Bride. This is a top tier for me, but so dude, where are you putting it?
Yeah, Princess Bride, dude, for sure. I think younger Siddhuey, who's probably a little more toxic masculinity, probably would have had this lower, but older Siddhuey has put that up. I think this might be even like as S. I don't know. Maybe it's got to be
A. For me, this was like top tier, but like, yeah, I mean, we'll go A. We'll go A.
You know what's funny is I don't even consider this a fantasy movie. I just consider this like an amazing movie. Like it's like, oh yeah,
it's fantasy. Yeah.
It's funny that I don't think about it like that. Yeah.
Put an S.
You want to put an S? All right. We're an S. At the bottom of S? In front of Hook? I think it's got to be in front of Hook.
It's got to be in front of Hook, dude.
I think Hook's got to get knocked down. I think we're gonna. I mean, you know what? I'm sorry. It's your list. I shouldn't even be saying this.
Honestly, put it to A. Just put it to A.
Because you didn't seem that strong about. You know what? How about this? We're gonna leave it how it is. We're getting towards the end here because there's a lot of movies coming up that I know you haven't seen. So we'll go back at the end and then we'll adjust. All right. Our next movie is Red Sonja, which is the female version of Conan.
I've seen it.
You have.
Yeah, also created by Robert E. Howard. Yeah.
You've seen Red Sonja?
I don't know that. I don't know.
I have. Red Sonja's I've seen that, bro.
It's literally just the female Conan.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who used to watch Hercules and Xena, Warrior Princess, all of them.
Oh man.
Okay? Oh yes, I have seen Red Sonja. Now I'm proud to say I've only seen it once.
Where are we putting it?
But whatever. That was a terrible movie. I remember that pretty clearly. I think it was a terrible film, Red Sonja, and it did not capture some of the magic of Conan. You know what I mean? It tried.
Yeah. It tried.
Because like even though it tried, it's like they you didn't have an Arnold to be like, if whether this is a turd or not, I love Arnold. Red Sonja, you don't have just I love these people. Like
Yeah. It's like it just feels like a bad version of Conan. You know what I mean? It's like not good. But yeah, I've seen it.
So where are we putting Red Sonja?
D.
D.
Put it at the end. Just put it at the
bottom of D.
It's bad.
Now the next movie's probably in my top 10 all-time movies, especially from childhood. I love this film. I know no one probably seen it. It is I think it was considered a giant flop. It is the sequel to Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz.
I've only seen Wizard of Oz.
All right, we'll move right ahead.
I like that one more than Wizard of Oz. I've got a confession. I've never watched The Wizard of Oz without Dark Side of the Moon play. I've only seen it in a Pink Floyd setting.
Really?
I've never actually watched the movie. And I feel like I can imagine Jared typing, like, we for sure have watched it at Grandma's house. I don't remember that. I only remember
Jared, can we get a confirmation on that, Jared?
I feel like I watched it at I was probably 17 at Josh Blitzstein. Like that was probably the first time I saw. And we did Dark Side of the Moon, and it was on mute, so I don't know.
To sell you on Return to Oz, to do it's Wizard of Oz on, like Nick was talking about this earlier, like it's Wizard of Oz on LSD. Now Wizard of Oz was already a trip, so imagine taking that and cranking it even harder.
And making it scary. Let's take the Wizard of Oz and make it scary.
Dude, the scene with the rollerblade people, oh my, it still sticks out to me. Oh, no, Jared says no confirmation on that, Nick, so he's okay with you saying that, yeah.
Okay.
I can lend you that DVD to do because it's hard to find. Maybe it's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
It is on Disney Plus?
I just Googled it, yeah.
That's surprising. I would have thought they would have tried to bury that.
No, because they don't own Wizard of Oz, but they do own Return to Oz. So they're probably like, well, this is our.
Who owns Wizard of Oz? Wow.
Amazon does now.
Wow.
Because it was an MGM project, right? Right? I'm pretty sure it's MGM.
I had no idea. Okay, that makes sense though. That makes sense.
All right, so we'll move on. Stardust.
I didn't see this. This is the one with De Niro?
Yeah, De Niro.
I didn't say. I heard.
I've heard it.
Neil
Yeah.
Gaiman. I hear the book is great.
It's Neil Gaiman?
Yeah, it's a Neil Gaiman book. I know that.
Oh, I gotta watch this then.
About like a princess, maybe? I don't know. About like a space prince? I have no idea.
I need to watch this because Sandman was so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. Siddhu, I'm assuming you know.
No, I haven't seen it.
The next one is something a lot of people in probably a generation older than us talk about, and I watched it because I think Kevin Smith had mentioned it time and time again. Time Bandits.
What is this?
It's about this kid. It's kind of almost like Never Ending Story-esque, and it's about this kid, and he kind of like time travels on this boat. It's very fantasy based. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, we'll keep moving. The next one, it's funny. I wasn't talking shit, but I was like, oh, I'm not really into fantasy. Then there's a bunch on this list that I really like.
I think what it is that you and I don't spend a lot of time in high fantasy. I think you and I like dark fantasy.
And I like the weird one that's kind of off planet, and this is kind of like another one right here. This is, I think, George Lucas produced.
Time Bandits looks insane. Like if you just Google Time Bandits and do Google images, this movie looks insane.
It's crazy. It's cool. It's cool. It's available somewhere.
Watch this.
Jerry, Google us up where it's available. Willow, Siddhu. Willow, not the TV series. Not the TV series, but the movie Willow. All right.
Yeah, I didn't know.
R.I.P. the TV series.
Yeah, that's you didn't watch it enough. That's why I got taken off air.
Get the I watched that weekly as it was dropping, dog. It has nothing to do with me. This is the original movie. Val Kilmer looking like a G in the top corner here.
I swear I feel like I've seen this, to be honest with you, but I just have no recollection of rating it or anything. But
it's okay.
I swear I've seen this when I was a kid. But...
Now I think this next one's going to be the last movie we actually rate because Dungeons and Dragons, not the new one, but the original Dungeons and Dragons. I have HBO. Time Bandits is available on HBO right now. Dungeons and Dragons, the original film. I'm going to go with Siddhu. You have not seen it?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Not the original.
The Name of the King?
No,
not me.
The Sword and the Sorcerer?
No, I'm looking it up now. I haven't seen this movie.
And the last one, I can't even read. I think it says Wizard of the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
All right, so here's our final.
Wizard of Oz there?
Yeah, and that's why I was saving it. Our final movie for the night. I'm assuming, Siddhu, you've seen this. The Wizard of Oz. Yeah,
I've seen that. Man, that's a classic. I don't think I really enjoyed it all that much when I saw it. First time when I was a kid, I was like, I don't think I really like this that much. But when I watched it when I got older, I really appreciated it. I found it to be like a movie that I was like, why didn't I like this more when I was a kid? Because it's really good, I
love it.
I think it's also even if you're someone who's never watched the movie, right? Let's just say, you probably have heard of the beats in the story. You've already heard of some things in the story. So there's a certain I don't know, when I saw it older and I was watching it again, I was like, oh yeah, this fucking road, all the Tin Man, you just kind of immediately have these positive associations with the story because it's so quintessential.
Yeah, it's things have been derived from it our whole lives that I could see people being like, oh, I don't even know that's a Wizard of Oz reference, but they're like, I know that theme, or
It's a legit staple to the movie industry, and a lot of the movies on this list would never exist without it.
Yeah,
I mean, it just really is.
Yeah, I like to say, and also to that point, it has a perfect balance of characters. The world that they're inhabiting is different and fun, and you're really interested in. It kind of hits all the major fantasy things and knocks them out of the park. Yeah. To me, Wizard of Oz, I think is the top film in our entire list. It's the number one S tier because it's I don't know, man. I feel like it is it's such a perfect classic film that you can't even how could anything be better than it? You know, like
Well,
how can I argue that Lord of the Rings is better than like this? I'm not talking about the fantasy list. Like,
no, I know, but I mean, Return to Oz, they one-upped it then, but that's besides the point.
yeah, I didn't see that, and like
It's a joke.
I only
It's a
seen
joke.
Wizard of Oz, but
It
like
would be cool as shit if like Return to Oz like matched up perfectly with like a different Pink Floyd album.
Yeah.
Like that would be sick if like that was also a thing.
Or like Wu-Tang 36 Chambers or
That would be
something.
crazy. Yeah.
Wu-Tang 36 Chambers matches up perfectly to Return of Oz, my friend.
I would love
When
that.
when Cash Cream comes on, bro, man, you gotta the money note sounds and that, and it matches up. It's phenomenal.
Have you guys ever seen The Wiz? Michael Jackson and Diana Ross?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a classic too.
Yeah. Why is that not on here? And also, really quick, just like, well, let's finish up. I was gonna say,
there's a
Army
lot
of
of
Darkness a fantasy?
yeah, I would consider Army of Darkness fantasy, but because I mean, it's Knights Round Table, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
witches and shit.
I mean, dude, they didn't even have all three Never-Ending Stories, but they had the first one. I didn't. Like, I didn't make this, but whatever.
The guy who made this list eventually just got lazy. He's like, I'm done. Like, he's like, I'm not doing it
he added on their favorites. I could have done that, but I wasn't going to spend the time. All right, so Wizard of Oz to do, where are we putting it? Top of S, top of A?
Yeah, I'm just going to put him at top of S. I think it's the most iconic of all the films that we've looked at so far, and I think it's just like the most quintessential, all of that. I think it's, it has to be number one. So yeah, I put the top.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's now, I mean, we're going to leave these other movies that Siddhuey hasn't seen. If you're watching this live with us, or you come, watching
I really
after.
think you'd like Dragonheart. I think you'd be a big fan of Dragonheart, Siddhuey. It's right up your alley. Dragons, heartfelt story.
I think you would like, there's a couple movies. I mean, I think you'd like Willow, the original Willow. Maybe not the TV series, but the original movie. Like, I mean, the TV series, you had to have grown up with the original movie to appreciate the TV series, because the TV series wasn't great. That's obviously why not only did it get canceled, but it got pulled off Disney Plus already within a year. Just ridiculous, but that's besides the point. I mean, that was good. Time Bandits, I think you'd appreciate to do. I mean, Labyrinth. Labyrinth is kind of like some of these movies. Some of these movies I watched as a child, so they hold a special place for me. I don't know how they would hold up now. But all right, let's just get into it, Siddhuey. Let's get into it. Let's go over. We'll start from the top and then we'll work our way down. So right now you have Wizard of Oz is number 1 S tier film. Okay, we have Pan's Labyrinth number 2. We have 1, 2, and 3 Lord of the Rings. We have Harry Potter. I'm sorry, it's small print here. Harry Potter.
I think it's 5.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Prisoners of Alcatraz.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, Prisoners of Alcatraz number what is that? Is that 5?
6.
Yeah, 5. Oh, no, 6. Nick D's right. It's in 6. Okay. We have Conan 1 and 2. We have Princess Bride. And then we have Hookerfield.
Drop Hook to A. Okay. And honestly, move Princess Bride ahead of Conan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like films.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're in A. We have Harry Potter. I think that's the original. Then we have Harry Potter Half-Blood guy. Then we have Never-Ending Story. And then we have Hookerfield.
Put Never-Ending Story the first of on the A list.
Jeez, all right. I mean, I'm into it, but okay. A lot of big movies. I like how Hook was an S and it dropped to the end of A. It doesn't even get bumped up. Yeah. I like that. I just like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're in B. We got Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And then we have the original triple OG Clash of the Titans.
I think that's good. I like that.
Okay.
Keep it like that.
Now we're in C. We have Harry Potter. We got 3 Harry Potter films. We got 3 Harry Potter films. Then we have Golden Compass. And then we have the OG Excalibur.
Yeah, I think I'm wondering if I should. Yeah, let's keep it. I was thinking of moving one of the Harry Potters to B, but now let's leave them in C.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, let's leave them all there. Yeah.
Okay. Now we are on D. We have another Harry Potter. I think it was the part one of the final parts.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wizard of Oz is too old. Update that with Adam Driver. Jared, get the
That's what I've been saying.
dude. Get
I mean,
the
give me a
fuck
reason
out
to
of
watch
here.
it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'll watch it right now if it, Okay, I think if they update it, it wouldn't do well, and it would just take away from the original. But that's besides the point. Okay, then we have Fantastic Mr. Beast. Then we have Chronicles of Narnia 1, 2, 3. We got Hobbit 1, 2, 3. We got Snow White and the Huntsman, and then we got Red Sonja.
Yeah, Red Sonja bringing up the rear.
I feel like it's so weird to even include Snow White in this list. Like, it's like all of the other movies. It's like Snow White feels like it shouldn't be in this list, but it's like, yeah, it's a fantasy movie. This is exactly where it would go. But it's unlike all of these movies.
Yeah, it is like totally different. I feel like Fantasia might be better fit than Snow White.
100%.
But there's not a live action Fantasia.
Or Maleficent.
Yeah.
You know, like
Maleficent. Maleficent 1 was really strong. I am surprised that's not on here because that kind of does fit in the category.
Yeah.
But the follow up to Maleficent wasn't as good. Besides the point. I have seen those.
I like the first Maleficent. Yeah, I think
the first one was
I was
really good.
surprised like Mortal Kombat's not on the list.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Street Fighter might be more cyberpunk.
That
makes sense. That's a stupid joke. Sorry.
We're good. Siddhuey, we're good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it. It's a good list.
All right, we're downloading it. It's been downloaded. That's the official Siddhuey Reviewy Fantasy tier list right there, folks. There it is. That is his personal list. If you don't like it, then make
know where to find him.
Make your own. All right. Real quick,
video.
we're going to do this one fast. Don't give any explanations. We're going to go, this one's going to be hyper speed. Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
Just for the record, my iPad might die before we, for the record. Like, if I drop out all of a sudden, yeah.
All right, Nick D might be here or he might not. If he isn't, well, Nick D's gone.
We'll make it lightning fast.
Lightning fast. Aladdin.
A.
Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, the Disney, yeah, A or S, yeah.
I don't know any of these movies. Beauty and the Beast.
B.
I like the music in that one, yeah. I didn't see Brave. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, Brave.
Didn't see it.
I've seen Brave, actually. That's an animated one. I'd put that as D.
Okay. Redheads, to do anything about it. I'm just going to read the ones I know. Cinderella.
That's a good one. I like Cinderella. It's classic.
A?
Yeah, why not? Maybe probably S, probably.
Coco.
Didn't see it.
B. Or C.
Caroline.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
Is this Lord of the Rings? No, it's not. I don't know what that is.
That looks awesome. Oh no, that's dude, I know exactly what that is. Fuck, that's a great movie. I don't know the name of it. That's it's like in the vein of Heavy Metal. That's a sick movie.
Okay,
I'd give that an A.
Fight of the Dragons. I've never heard of that.
Mm-mm.
Frozen.
I've seen that. That's got to be like what, a B?
Wow. Heavy Metal.
S. For me. Yeah, like Heavy Metal.
Have you seen this, Siddhuey?
Shit.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Hercules.
Oh, the animated?
Yeah, these are all animated. They're all animated.
B.
Okay. I think this is Hobbits, the cartoon.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't seen that.
All right, just skip this. Howl's Moving Castle. Never heard of that. How to Train My Dragon 1 and 2. Or 2 and 3.
S.
2 and 3.
S. All of them S.
Okay. Is there any order to that with How I Train My Dragon?
1.
Okay.
3, 2.
1, 3, 2. Okay. I'm glad I asked.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay. All right.
Let me quick.
James and the Giant Peach.
B. Okay, S.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm thinking more of the book. Like,
the book is great.
Like, I love that book.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
D.
Okay. I knew you'd seen that. I haven't seen these ones. I don't think you have. Lord of the Rings animated?
I haven't seen that.
I've seen that actually. That's weird. Again, that's like crazy 70s animation.
Yeah,
It's almost like
I've
heavy
heard
metal.
that's crazy. Yeah.
I like it.
Little Mermaid, original Little Mermaid.
A.
Yeah. On the soundtrack alone, yeah.
Yeah, soundtrack's amazing. Skipping ahead here, Onward. I like this one. Did you see that, Siddhuey? You haven't seen that? Okay.
No, I haven't seen that.
All right, Peter Pan animated.
Yeah, A, S. I don't know, A?
Yeah, the A or S. Yeah,
I mean, that's S for me.
Yeah.
I'm just skipping here. Robin Hood. The animated, the Fox.
I like that one a lot. Yeah, that was fun.
What's the A for that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
A, B, I don't know.
Sleeping Beauty.
B.
Yeah, like I don't know. Sleeping Beauty's cool, but it's not as cool as like those other classics. I'm at 5%. I'm at 5%.
Snow White.
All right, here.
A.
I'm gonna get off my head.
A.
Yeah.
Okay. Sword in the Stone.
C.
I like the concept of it. I don't remember the movie, but I like that.
It's good. I like that one, but that's fine. And then
I don't know. I never saw
Oh, here we go, Siddhuey. Here we go. Because I know you haven't seen this. Wolf Walker. I think BK really liked that one. Caroline Part 2. Oh, that's Neil Gaiman did Caroline?
Or yeah.
Wow.
All
right. Fantasia.
S.
A. S. S. Actually, yeah. S. 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 Yeah.
Okay. Oh. All right. Going over it real quick. I like how nothing ended up in F. All these are F. F them. Siddhuey hasn't seen them.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What about
whatever.
I'm sure you haven't seen it. Okay, so real quick, we got How I Trained Your Dragon 1, 2, 3, Fantasia, Aladdin, or that was A. My bad. That was S. Then for A, we have Aladdin, Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, Mermaid, Peter Pan, Robin Hood, Snow White. No adjustments. Okay. B, we have Beauty and the Beast, Coco, Frozen. They only have one Frozen, just to point out. They don't have 2 and 3. That's interesting. Hercules, James and the Giant Peach. That was phenomenal. Like the animation or clay animation on that was so cool. Sleeping Beauty. In C, we have Sword in the Stone. And in D, we have Brave and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I've never seen Sword in the Stone, by the way, but Addie's upset it's not S tier.
All right, then it's actually just got pulled out. It's not Addie's list, Siddhuey. It's not Addie's list. Who cares what Addie has to say? I saw that he said that.
Right.
I saw he also booed you earlier. So I don't know if that was because of the Harry Potter stuff or what. Real quick, now that Addie's here, we'll go back real quick. Addie, this is what Siddhuey did with Harry Potter's. He put Harry Potter 1. He put Harry Potter in what, Siddhuey?
Harry Potter 3 and S.
Cousin of Alcatraz, he put it in S. He put Harry Potter, the OG, in A. He put the other Harry Potter and the Chamber or the Phoenix, Articles of the Phoenix, in B. And then he put the the other Harry Potters in C. And then he put the first part of the final one, part 1 of the final one, in D, top of D. So there you go, Addie. If you have something to say, leave a comment, but maybe leave a real comment, not just here on the thing. If somebody can start leaving real comments, we'd appreciate it. That's a story for another time. All right, Siddhuey, so that was your cartoon one, or your animated one. There's a lot of movies I skipped over because I hadn't seen them, and I was assuming if I hadn't seen it, you probably hadn't seen it. That was just making assumptions here. I mean, you hadn't even seen Sword in the Stone, and that's crazy.
Animes.
Huh? Yeah, there was a bunch of animes in here.
For all those like Studio
Ghibli. I noticed that. I haven't seen any of those, to be honest, Nick D.
2 of them.
All right, well, that was fun. I mean, I figured we just rapid fire that one. No discussion. We're just rapid firing that one. So that's an interesting rapid fire. I like how nothing ended up in C, nothing ended up in F. You had quite a lot in A, and of course, How I Trained My Dragon ended up in S. And I really wanted to do that just because I know how strongly you feel about How I Trained My Dragon. So I wanted to just get a little quick thing here so that we know. Because I'm sure, Siddhuey, let me ask you this before we'll end the show with this. With the original tier list, we're back to the original live action. Where would you put How I Trained My Dragon in this tier list?
Number 1.
You put it in S?
Yeah, I mean, I probably put numbers 2 and 3 in that list, S tier, and I put all 3 in S tier. But like how I would rank them, I put 2 and 3 probably a little. If I had to be specific, those ahead of number 1.
Oh, okay. Addy said
One's like,
bro, not boo. I was incorrect about that. I'm sorry, bro. There's a lot going on here on the tier list and stuff.
anyway, but yeah, I'd put them up in S tier.
Okay,
Yeah.
you'd put them up in S tier. I just wanted to double check that. Even with live action, Siddhuey would probably rate How I Train My Dragon very high. All right, that was cool. We finally had Siddhuey come on and talk about fantasy. Gave us his breakdowns. We'll probably have you come back and do another fantasy episode, maybe. Not maybe. We'll have you come back and do another fantasy, but maybe not with a tier list, or maybe we'll create an actual tier list with more fantasy movies. Is there any fantasy movie, real quick, that we didn't mention that you want to give a shout out to?
An anime one, Princess Monokone, I think it is.
Mononoke, yeah. That was actually on the list.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah. That one I would just want to shout out. Great anime.
The animated one. See the chick with the wolf right there? The second row next to Ponyo. Scroll to the right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what's to do an S?
Yeah, I put that S, man. I just think that's a great movie. That's actually the anime thing that like got me interested in like other anime. So I have a fond place in my heart for that one. So yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, maybe next time we'll do an anime list, and I'll be way more well versed for that. You know.
There's I got one last fantasy recommendation for you guys. There's a comic called Orc Stain, and what it's about this orc who has two special things, and he's kind of like bringing down all the orcs. He's going against all the orc kingdom. He has an eye that when he looks at something, he can see exactly where you have to hit it to destroy it, because he's like a miner. So he's like really good at like breaking things so that he can build them. But he also has this crazy hammer that has all this power. So he'll look at people's arms and it'll be like, if I hit his shoulder right there, I can destroy his skeleton. And then it's like this gnarly dark story about an orc, about this little orc with a special eye and a special hammer, and he's just wrecking shop. He's just going to town on these Orc Stain. Definitely recommend it.
I just googled it. It looks pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, James, an amazing art.
Real quick, because I'm going to read it so that you actually respond here and not in the chat, because it makes more sense for you to respond live. Addy said, I'm cool with Siddhuey's fantasy list other than HB3 was one of my least favorites, but I've enjoyed it more recently. HB4 is my jam. That was Addy's right up to you, Siddhuey, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. I just disagree with Goblet. I just feel like they totally fucked up Dumbledore, and that's why it lessens up in my eyes a lot. He's not at all the same sort of characters, and that like ruins a tone of the film. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the discovery of like what's going on. It's like Dumbledore's like, oh my god, what's happening? It's like he's not that clueless, and I feel like that ruins a lot of the tenor of the story. So I just not as big of a fan. And Prisoner of Azkaban, I just think it's close to the book, but also, made a little more movie-ified, and I think it's the best one. So.
Hell yeah.
There you go, Addy. So, there you go. And Addy comes late into the chat now. He's saying a bunch of stuff about Harry Potter. It's like, we're past that, dog. Come on now, man.
Yeah. Nick's fucking iPad was run out.
Yeah. All right.
Plugged in.
Well, we're at the 2-hour mark anyways, Nick D. Screw Addy. He should have been here on time. Siddhuey, thank you so much for coming out, filling in for Jer. Even though Jer also mentioned that he didn't even do the thing that he said he was going to do tonight, so that's kind of funny. And he went and saw Wicked, I think, instead.
Which is a
Wizard of Oz reference, yeah. Jer also mentioned that he was surprised that you didn't give a shout out to Riddick.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Riddick would have been up there for sure in the top tier, man. Come on now.
Riddick's a weird one though, because it kind of falls.
Feel like a fantasy movie.
Yeah, it's kind of a sci-fi more than it is a fantasy.
Yeah, it feels more sci-fi with all just being out in space, the suits,
especially the first installment.
Yeah, Pitch Black.
Pitch Black was very sci-fi. So,
good movie too.
We will give it a mention though. All right, well, that was the show. We really do appreciate Siddhuey filling in tonight. And I think, Siddhuey, will we be back later this week with your show, or what's going on with that, buddy?
Yeah, we could probably do it tomorrow or something.
Yeah, we probably do it tomorrow is what Siddhuey's saying. All right, so that's that for tonight. We thank everyone for watching. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and if you want to leave a hateful comment here instead of on Instagram, we'd appreciate it because it kind of matters more here on the show than it does over there. And that's that. Hold on, Addy wrote something. Does it matter? Yeah, okay, Addy, cool. Addy's writing more stuff about Harry Potter. Like I said, Addy, we're past the goddamn Harry Potter situation at the end of the show. All right, we appreciate it, everybody, for watching, whether you are catching up late or whatever. Hopefully everyone in the submarine is safe and that they all make it out of there alive with their I don't know. I actually don't I was on topic tonight. So all right.
Okay.
That is that. And we will be back next Tuesday with another amazing episode.
Later.